Greetings, fellow Toriyama fans. Blue Dragon 5 here.
And Jacob Weil.
To pay tribute to the master of manga, Akira Toriyama, and celebrate 40 years of Dragon Ball proper, we're going through the animated saga that is Dragon Ball Z. To get back in touch with our anime roots as we begin our journey into Dragon Ball Z.
Previously on Journey into Dragon Ball Z, Dragon and Jacob watched Goku's peaceful life come to an end after the shocking revelation of his true origins. In preparation for the arrival of the Saiyan menace, Goku trained under King Kai, while Piccolo trained young Gohan. With the help of his friends, Goku was able to drive off the unstoppable threat at a tremendous cost. Now, Bulma, Krillin, and Gohan make their way to the planet Namek in a desperate bid to use the Namekian Dragon Balls. However, a far greater evil is also in search of the Dragon Balls, a name feared throughout the galaxy: Frieza. Oh yeah. Hi, Space Clown, by the way.
Yo.
So this is a big one, Dragon.
Oh yeah.
In more ways than one. Length, scale, scope.
Yep, it's all around big.
It's huge.
That's right. This is possibly the longest Dragon Ball saga we're going to be talking about.
Yep. The funny thing is, I did the math. This entire saga, is half the length of the original Dragon Ball series. Because this is 71, 72 episodes, depending on where you count it. The original series was only 153 episodes.
Yeah.
Isn't that wild?
That is very wild.
I did the math. If you started like the OG Dragon Ball and the Frieza saga at the same time, Dragon Ball would be in the middle of near the end of the Red Ribbon Army saga. Isn't that insane?
That is. That's pretty crazy.
And that's Dragon Ball's longest saga too.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is a big one.
Yep.
And this is almost like, for many people, the defining saga of Dragon Ball too.
A lot of people really love it.
Yep. So I'm guessing you probably want to get into the background and your personal history with it then, right?
Well, just in general, like our, really about our personal history, yeah.
All right. Why don't you lead us off then?
Yeah, so again, folks, just the kind of, as far as housekeeping goes, again, so you're probably wondering, isn't this kind of the Namek saga? Well, again, we kind of, for our purposes, we kind of went with the villain naming kind of tradition within the Dragon Ball sagas. So, for the way we've chosen to cover it, especially since, the Namek saga and the Frieza saga are basically, it's essentially the same story, and they bleed right into each other. And Frieza is present throughout everything. We kind of went with, so we've kind of combined it. So the Frieza saga is both the Namek and the Frieza, and all the stuff that happens on Namek is the Frieza saga. Just want to get that out of the way beforehand.
Yep.
So so this arc, it's famous but also infamous because of all the Dragon Ball Z stuff. Honestly, between Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z, across the whole medium. This is the most infamous arc because of the filler, because this is the most filler laden saga in all of Dragon Balls. And every time someone's, oh boy, I'm going to watch through Dragon Ball Z, and it's like, which version are we going to use for the Frieza saga? Because that's the most filler laden one. Because of all the filler, I think this one's always going to be low on the totem pole for me, honestly. Now, I look, and a lot of people are going to say, how can you say that? It's Frieza, so we do a lot of firsts through him. This is a huge story. It's very important. I don't disagree with that. It is important. It is big. Frieza is nothing to sneeze at. But by the same token, though, it's like, I believe in kind of Dragon Ball warts and all. I want to see everything. I like the filler. I like the idea that I can just I can ignore the parts I don't like. I can just go with I can you kind of self edit the filler as you see fit. If you were doing a watch of it. But that said, just taking it warts and all versus something like Kai, it doesn't rank that high for me, and it's kind of for two reasons. It's I get a couple things. Okay, so one, I think fundamentally deep down, I think this is like the only Dragon Ball Z arc that really takes us off world. And I think there's maybe an underlying reason why, on some level, this doesn't connect with me. That's not to say I don't like Namek, and I like the Namekians, I like the design of Namek, all that's great, but it just feels like maybe that's like the one thing at this. We're just completely we're away from humanity, or away from the earth. The stakes are not quite the usual that we have, and that's not knock against this, but I think maybe on some level it's like something that's maybe like an unconscious disconnect for me. I mean, nostalgically for me, when I had this, I had the orange brick of at least the first half of this, like the Namek saga of this. The one with like Goku on the box, and then Frieza's like the third orange brick. So that's how I experienced this. This was not like a watching it while it aired sort of thing. Because I think when I started doing that with Dragon Ball Z, it was probably during like back half of the Cell saga to mostly the Buu saga, but we'll get there.
Yeah.
Essentially, in my rewatch of this for our purposes here, it was like the never-ending saga, even if we didn't combine them. It was a slog to get through in places. It was here's the thing. So this saga, frankly, is why Dragon Ball Z Kai exists. Without this, I don't think Kai would have taken off the way that it did. Like this is the one that says, okay, there's merit to what we're doing with Dragon Ball Z Kai. There is a reason to, if we did like edit it and make it a little closer to the manga in terms of the pacing and the story, and like just getting like the bare bones that we need, this is the one that necessitated it, because people are like, "Oh man, I want to watch through Dragon Ball," but oh my god, this Namek Frieza stuff, it's going on for so long. Is there any way to? Are the books this long? No. Oh, what can we do that in the animation? Well, I mean, I guess we could edit it down a little bit, do a little redubbing. Like, oh, so it's just an example of the filler legitimately hurting the story, and that was my big takeaway upon rewatching it. It's just this was an example of, now, I love the filler, and I love like making my own informed opinions on the filler as I rewatch it. But again, I underestimated just how I knew like the big fight was going to go on for a while. Of course, this is where Dragon Ball gets its infamy for the whole like the fights that take forever versus like what we had in Dragon Ball.
I mean, the Goku versus Frieza fight is literally the longest fight in anime history.
Exactly. So it's and a lot of this is due to like catching up with the manga that was coming out at the time versus when it was animated for Japan. It's like my takeaway is our the big takeaway from the story is that, okay, we meet our friends, then we make our friends the Namekians, we get Super Saiyan, and we have the Frieza fight. Those are the three big tent poles of this arc, and I appreciate Toriyama trying to give us a hunt for the Dragon Balls in a way that we've never seen before. We have a lot of war game stratagem at play here. A lot of we're trying to get one up on the other guy. We're trying to hide Dragon Balls, and it's very much kind of a game of keep away with the Dragon Balls, which you never quite have had before prior to this. Like the closest thing we have is like a brief bit in like the Demon King Piccolo arc, or very briefly. It's like one little moment of it with Master Roshi burying the Dragon Balls. That's the closest we ever get to it.
And then Piccolo swallowing his.
Exactly. So it's kind of like taking that and then kind of exploring it as like other ways we can be crafty about how we're keeping the other person from making their wish. So that's interesting. It's here's the thing. In retrospect, this connects well to the Saiyan saga, but it also convolutes it a bit. It's like a nice thing where we set up kind of like a room for Frieza, who are the Saiyans reporting to it. Where's the world building there? This ant gives us the world building. It flows really nicely as a sequel in terms of premise, but we convolute a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff in the filler that really doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yep.
It's just like again, it's just ultimately for me, it's like the Dragon Ball Z saga that has the least I have the least connection to, and because again, it wasn't my introductory point. My introductory point to Dragon Ball Z, aside from in general like the Saiyan saga, was it was the aftermath of it's where we're going to be coming in about 2 sagas from now with the Android saga. That's really where I came in with things with DBZ. It was like there was like so I got a little bit of Frieza, which we'll get to, but not quite not quite all this. And I know a lot of people love and respect this. They a lot of reverence for it, and I get that. It's just at the end of the day, this is like the one. A part of me wonders if I could if I could like arrange my perfect version of of Dragon Ball Z. If I would have just this one would have been like all the Frieza stuff would have been the Kai version. If we could have had like the abridged, not the actual, not Team 4-Star abridged, but the other abridged, we could have had just like the Kai Cliff Notes version of this saga, and if I could just like insert that in, in kind of a construction of like the perfect binge of DBZ.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
So that's kind of where I come at this one. This won't be the funnest saga for me.
I guess I can go into my statement.
Yeah, man. What do you think about this?
I can't say I have as much to say about this as you do, but I will say even though I got into Dragon Ball Z really late compared to that, even I was familiar with Frieza, because he was that well known. Frieza is like the Dragon Ball Z villain.
Yeah.
He's basically like the Joker of Dragon Ball, kind of.
Joker. Yeah. Some people go Space Hitler, but
Well, I guess either one of those works.
Yeah.
I mean, neither one is technically really incorrect.
No.
I mean, he definitely, base Joker definitely has the lips to pull off Joker.
That's true.
So, and depending on if it's like on both Linda Young and Greg Ayers' delivery, kind of sounds like Joker sometimes.
That's true.
So, because the thing is, like, when I did watch Dragon Ball Z, it was originally through Kai,
mm-hmm.
And I did get the Kai version of, as I say, abridged, and I have seen the abridged version. I've pretty much seen all of that, but obviously that, unlike others, that didn't color my perception of Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
But I did see the Kai version of Dragon Ball Z first, so I am more familiar with the Kai version of Dragon Ball Z, of the Frieza saga. And even then, that did go on for quite a while, but it was more economically paced. Like, I believe, like, trimmed down to like 40 episodes, if I remember correctly.
I'm sorry, what?
So if I remember correctly, the Kai version trimmed it down to like 40 episodes.
Oh my god, that sounds beautiful.
Like I said, I'm not sure exactly if that's true, but
I know. Yeah, the point being, it's less than the amount of episodes that
basically they cut it about half.
He's got to remember, like the Saiyan saga, the extended version of the most extended version, filler and all of the Saiyan saga is like 36 episodes, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
So I mean, that's not bad. That's pretty good.
No. Hey, from what I understand, even trimmed down, the Goku versus Frieza fight is still one of the longest in anime history.
No, I get that. Look, I get that. I'm saying, like, even like that one probably should be long because also you have some plot that's going on during that fight. So I get that.
I said even the Kai version is long.
Yeah.
Heck, the manga version goes on for like 20 chapters.
Well, that's the thing. So there's a question there.
Yeah. So
in some ways, it's faithful to the manga. In some ways, it's made more faithful to the.
And so Toei was basically had to stretch things out to keep things aligned.
Yeah. So they're probably wondering, like, oh god, when's Toriyama gonna wrap this up?
So the thing is like, so I knew going into this how long the saga would be. Like, jokes and memes and everything have been made about the sheer length of this saga.
Yep.
So I knew like some of the things that happened in here going in, and the thing is, I can tolerate some of the filler. Like the filler with the kid, like the survivor kids, I can kind of understand. Like it didn't carry on too long, and it did kind of introduce Frieza as a threat. So I can kind of respect that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
The fake Namek though.
We'll get there.
Yeah, that's I kind of draw the line at that one.
Yeah.
And like I did like some of the exploration in Namek, but sometimes it just drags. It's like there are long stretches where nothing happens. It's like And as you mentioned, the keep away is interesting, but here, just like, okay, now they have it. Now Vegeta has it. Now Frieza has it again. Now they have it, but oh no, they can't make the wish because they don't speak Namekian. It just goes on. And then, oh, Goku, when's Goku going here? Oh, Goku's here. Oh, Goku got switched. Now he has to rehabilitate in the Bacta tank again.
All right. Maybe we don't want to. Let's not spell it all out there.
You get the idea.
I get the idea.
I mean, don't get me wrong. The fight against Frieza is epic, and it's a great way to cap things off.
Yeah.
So, in other words, it's definitely a mixed bag.
All right.
Obviously important for different reasons, and epic where it needs to be, but I can definitely see people preferring the Kai version over this one.
Yeah.
All right then. We do have more comments from Lucas Green. Like, I get a lot of Rita Repulsive vibes from Linda Young. Rita Repulsive, yeah, he says.
Correct. Yeah, that's what. Yeah.
He said, and personally, I think Linda Young works for Frieza. It's sinister, it's intense, plus Frieza an alien, and unexpected is expected.
Well, and Linda Young was my Frieza of choice as well. So.
And I mean, Greg Ayres doesn't do a bad job.
He's great. I mean, I forget why if Linda Young became sick or anything. I don't know if that's why. I forget if Linda Young's still around or not.
I mean, Linda, I think she is.
I think she is. I think it was.
I think they still kept her around for a fortune teller Baba.
Yeah.
I don't know if Baba appears in Super, but
also Linda Young, Yu Yu Hakusho.
Yeah.
She plays Genkai.
Yeah, that's what she keeps saying.
Oh yeah.
So yeah.
Well, I mean, I have great fondness for Linda Young.
I mean, like I said, she's a great fit for Frieza.
Yeah. But yeah, the new guy they have for Frieza, if you're gonna get somebody else to do Frieza, that's a good take for him.
Well, they can't use Greg Ayres anymore because he died.
Oh, sorry. No, I thought you meant. Wait, who's the current?
I'm not sure. I forget. I know the name.
Wait. How recent did Greg Ayres pass away?
Oh, it's Christopher Ayres. Greg Ayres is Chris's brother.
Oh.
Frieza's voice is Christopher Ayres, and he died, and he voiced him until 2019.
Maybe that's who I'm thinking of. That maybe he was if he's the one I'm thinking, he was really good as Frieza too.
But unfortunately, he died in 2021.
Yeah.
The current voice is Damon Mills, though.
Okay. Anyway, all right. So let's get into it.
Yes. So it begins in a hospital.
Yeah, so post-Saiyan Saga, without sensu beans, Goku's basically in a full body cast after that Vegeta fight, which is unsurprising. He took a lot of punishment.
Yep.
Of course, hilariously, Goku, like most of us, he is, as the show's humanity, he's very afraid of needles.
Yeah, he can face these intergalactic threats and not break a sweat.
There are two things Goku fears in this life.
Needles and his wife.
Exactly. If Chi-Chi were wearing a nurse's outfit, Goku would head for the hills. He would go to King Kai, save me! He would go to King Kai's planet.
Yep. Chi-Chi, like I keep saying, even like they even make a joke about it in this saga. It's like the most powerful being in the universe is Chi-Chi.
Yep.
They even.
Well, we have at the end of this arc, but we'll get there.
Yep, the most powerful person in the Dragon Ball universe, Chi-Chi.
All right. So this is the beginning of a recurring trend, which we even saw a little bit in the Saiyan Saga, but here we've physicalized it a little bit more. So the idea, there's always a lot of Goku can kind of be a Deus Ex Machina to a degree. It's not like a one-for-one Deus Ex Machina. It's the idea of Goku he's the end-all, be-all. He usually shows up. He takes care of all the problems that we have going on here. And in doing so, the story will be over faster, so we need to delay him often. That's why, it's like, hey, he comes, we wish him back, but, he's going to be late to the battle so we can have the stakes be as high as they can possibly be. So here it's kind of a similar thing where if Goku shows up to the planet, we're not going to be running and hiding and being at a disadvantage like we are with Gohan and Krillin later on. So that's why we put him in the hospital and we delay his travel there as much as we can.
Yep.
Then we do it again later on, but we'll get there. It's a whole nother one.
Yep.
So we delay him to show. But again, here's the thing. This was like the whole thing that Toriyama's going for with the conception of Dragon Ball Z. He's basically he's passing the baton to Gohan, which is kind of what his end game is when we get to kind of around the Cell Saga. But he's basically right now he's kind of timesharing Goku and Gohan and really kind of trying to prime the audience for Gohan before he gets some cold feet on that. But
was it actually Toriyama's plan? Because I remember he basically said he rode most of it by the seat of his pants.
Oh, well, yeah, he rode by the seat of his pants, but I mean, I think there's an outline for what he wanted to do. Like overall, from what I understand, like from my betters who have dissected and analyzed Dragon Ball Z far better than you or I ever could dream of. Sounds like that was this was like well researched too. If I'm quoting it right, I want to say that that was Toriyama's plan, or at least that was the speculated plan. But again, knowing Toriyama and how he writes, you're right. There is a little bit of he could have been doing it by the seat of his pants, and maybe today I'm going to lean more Gohan, I'm going to lean more Goku, just going back and forth. How intentional it is, I still think that was like the grand plan, and then plan in quotes.
Yeah, there's no way to know for sure.
But speaking of plans, so they have the Saiyan pod. That was the plan. We had the Saiyan pod, and we would go from there. But Bulma, she ended up blowing it up as she was showboating in the hospital.
Yep. And the thing is, it blew up on live TV.
Yep, on the live TV. Okay, good news. Mr. Popo shows up on a flying carpet.
Yep. A flying carpet.
Yeah.
And also, but with good news. As Goku's original ship.
Well, no, not Goku.
Piccolo's.
Kami's,
right? Well, same thing.
Well, you really start as Piccolo, doesn't? But yes, okay. The point being, Kami's ship.
The password is Piccolo.
That's how we're gonna get there. So
all right. I'll shut up.
So we go to Mr. Popo takes Bulma to Kami's ship. Now, we don't learn Kami's backstory here, which we've kind of alluded to, but, Toriyama, he's basically kind of defining things as he's going forward here. So, retroactively, we reveal that what brought Kami, again, because Kami was, essentially, he was basically Piccolo who was kind of at war with himself. But again, essentially back when Piccolo was a demon before he was an alien.
Yep, and who knows what Daima, he might still be a demon.
Yeah, I don't want to get into that here, but
all right.
I don't want to confuse the poor folks. Point being, the backstory on Kami seems to be that there was this, which we reference later, there was an exodus on Namek. Namek was facing this great storm. It was almost like a firestorm on the planet. And basically, they did an evacuation. Kami's parents, they almost kind of Superman style. They sent a young baby Kami in this Namekian spaceship, out into the universe. I guess to Earth was probably like a nearby planet for them, at least a habitable nearby planet for them. Who knows? And Kami, but
he waited, staring at space, waiting for his family to return, with no memory of what happened.
Which is sad.
Yeah.
And of course, then basically as things went on, then we have like the whole Demon King Piccolo saga occurs, and then presumably that's kind of his origin. He got embittered by it, and that's probably what happened.
And obviously seeing the evils of humanity.
Yeah, I'm saying like he just kind of sees the world, and he kind of struggles with it, and he splits himself in two, and then basically the resentful part of his nature became Demon King Piccolo Sr. Now the name Piccolo, as Jacob is alluding to, so apparently the ship is voice activated, and we kind of demonstrate this through the few Namekian words Mr. Popo knows. To open the ship, you say Piccolo. So that's again the way he got out of the ship and probably went into there here and there. That's how we got the name, Piccolo.
Which implies that Piccolo is a Namekian word, at least.
Yeah.
But also an instrument, he coincidentally names his spawned demons after instruments.
Well, that's the thing. He probably doesn't know what Piccolo means. And at some point, he's out in the world, he kind of finds out, I like music. I'm named after music. All right, so we have a voice-activated ship that Bulma then, thanks to the Capsule Corp and everything, she kind of retrofits so it can, can kind of translate Namekian into English so that get some, I forget how many, if it's like a few months or not.
I think it is, yeah.
Yeah, it's either like 20 days or a few months, I can't recall. But so Gohan stands up to Chi-Chi, who again most feared woman in the universe, so that's saying something. So he stands up to Chi-Chi, who, by the way, so Chi-Chi. let's face it, this arc is not the best representation of either Chi-Chi or especially Bulma. Bulma gets the shaft in this one. Bulma is very not well represented here.
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
So Chi-Chi and Bulma, Chi-Chi's a bit much here. You know, her runner is that she wants to go to space to save her baby, but like not, you know, she's gonna blow everyone up getting there.
She basically didn't even learn how to pilot a ship before she tried to go into space.
Yeah, and this was very much like filler Chi-Chi gags, you know, like, okay, we need Chi-Chi to respond. We need to go back to the Earth for a bit, and, you know, it's kind of, what would Chi-Chi's response be, that kind of stuff. Anyway, so Gohan, though, I love this, though. I love that Goku's proud of his boy. Proud of his boy. He's proud of Gohan for wanting to, you know, revive Piccolo and the Z Fighters, you know.
Yeah, and they spend most of this arc dead.
Well, yeah. They're okay though. There's dead.
Yeah, they're fine.
Yeah, they're training with King Kai.
Yep, they're perfect. They're fine.
Yeah, so
somehow they made it there faster than Goku did.
Yeah, well, they were motivated. They were motivated. Plus, you got to remember too, they weren't getting into shenanigans like they're not stopping by Snake Way or Princess. Well, not stopping by Princess Snake's place or like falling off with Gazimez.
Falling into hell.
That's the thing. That's really what that's. It's no wonder they got there faster in Goku. That's why.
Maybe they had help from the street cleaner.
No, maybe. Yeah. All right, so Gohan's got the bowl cut now. Got the Mo Howard.
The Mo Howard, yep.
Let's see. So basically, we have some space. So it's a trio of Gohan, Krillin, and Bulma. They're going into space to find the Namekian Dragon Balls and wish their friends back. So, especially Piccolo, because if we wish Piccolo back, we get all the Dragon Balls on Earth back.
Something that they learned during their discussions with that they heard something that they overheard the Saiyans talk about.
Yes. So
and Bulma, she basically trashes her own ship and then demands the others clean it up.
Yeah. So okay. So Pro with the Bulma stuff. Okay. Pro. She's rocking the Ripley look from Alien. So yay for that. Okay, Khan. She's basically devolved to like the worst character traits that she had throughout the Dragon Ball series.
She's whining, demanding they clean up her mess. Like
very unlikable this whole arc until here's the thing. The every time she's off planet, she's very unlikable. However, when she gets back to Earth at the very end, she's right as rain. When she's on terra firma, she's good. In space, it doesn't reflect well on her.
Maybe it's space madness.
I think space madness. Yep. My ice cream.
Bulma probably needed a couple pints of ice cream after all that. Maybe that would have calmed her down a bit.
Yeah. Yep. We even do the bathtub scene with her, so it is kind of like the space madness.
Oh God.
I've had this ice cream since I was a child. Anyway, so so we have a lot of dumb filler in space. So basically we have two big examples. The second one being emphasis on the big. So we have the space orphans.
And like I said, I can at least tolerate this.
The space orphans build up the Frieza of it all. Like, okay, so we're doing, as far as filler goes, okay, we're setting it up. We have Bulma walking around in the Ripley undies. I'll take it. That's fine.
That's not the reason I enjoy it.
Well, no, I'm just saying, it's like if I have to take something away from it, it's like, okay, well, something.
I mean, you get more shots of that, I guess.
It's impractical, but I mean, look, I gotta find in all the stupid filler that we have with like the space stuff. I gotta find something. Anyway, so then we have fake Namek, which is the stupidest thing ever, just in Dragon Ball Z. Just God, I hate it.
I know, but I figured I had to watch it.
Again, we're wasting time versus serving story here. Where essentially we have some kind of like shapeshifters who are pretending to be Namekians, and it's the fact that we drag it. It's not that we have one episode where we think we found Namek and ends up being a farce. Like no, it's like, Jacob, do you remember how many episodes this fake Namek thing went on for?
I think it was at least like 3 or 4 episodes.
Yeah, it just went on and on. It was like it gave you the false hope, like things are going well.
And like I said, the readers of the manga would have known that wait, this didn't happen. This is fake.
Exactly, and it's just this whole. Honestly, the biggest problem is that it takes away like the impact that Namekians make when we actually meet them, because the fact that they actually showed us what Namekians look like pretty dead on, before we actually meet the real ones, so it makes it a little less when we actually go to Namek, you know.
And there's a reason why both of these arcs were cut out of Kai.
Yeah.
Because they're filler and dumb.
Exactly.
I mean, sadly, some other good filler got cut out of Kai, but
yeah,
like the driving episode.
Yeah.
From what I understand, I haven't actually seen that one yet.
Okay, so meanwhile, Vegeta, he's healed up. They use the Saiyan back to tank on him, which essentially, and this is really cool. I kind of forgot about this detail. So in Dragon Ball Z,
yeah,
the way these back the tank, basically it's a healing chamber, but it's not just a healing chamber. It's not just the back the tank either. Essentially, it's Saiyan cells in the liquid that you're being submerged with, and like synthetic Saiyan cells.
I was about to say, didn't you say like pseudo or synthetic?
Yeah, synthetic. It's synthetic Saiyan cells because the Saiyans are extinct, so it's almost like synthetic kryptonite of sort. But in the opposite kind of vein.
Vegetaite.
Yeah. The point being, it's like the idea that Saiyan is basically submerged in this, kind of like it will promote healing and everything.
All right.
So they never. However, I'm not the first person to ever bring this up. They never explain how Vegeta's tail never grows back. They never ever talk about that.
Well, maybe it only happened. They only grow back when they're children.
You know what? I think that's a really good explanation, Jacob. I never thought about that.
I don't think Toriyama thought about it either.
I don't think he thought. No.
That's good. Because remember, Kid Goku grows back a couple times, at least in the anime.
In adulthood, after Kami removed it, never came back.
Same with Vegeta.
Makes sense.
After his is cut off, it never grows back.
I'll subscribe. That's all right. That's the best explanation I've ever heard. Frankly, it's good.
All right. I mean, I just thought it off the top of my head.
No, I never thought of it. That's actually a really good idea.
All right. Like I said, who knows? Maybe Toriyama did intend for that to be the explanation, but I don't know.
All right. So, wait a minute.
Yeah.
One flaw in your logic there, buddy.
Yeah.
Goten, unless the idea is almost like getting his hair cut like off screen, we just keep removing the tail.
No. I don't know.
That's it. Goten and Trunks, they never have tails. But maybe intentionally, it's like they get cut off like on the regular.
I have no idea.
Okay, well anyway.
Like I said, I don't think it was on the top of Toriyama's priority list.
Yeah.
I mean, do we ever even see the Great Apes again after this?
No.
Well, that's probably another reason.
Technically Dragon Ball GT, but that's
Well, that's technically not Toriyama.
Yeah. So no.
Then that explains a lot.
Yes.
Now here's the question. I know this is jumping ahead a bit. Could a great ape go Super Saiyan?
Well, again, it's getting into GT territory. If you count GT, then technically yes.
But again, not really canon.
Yeah.
All right. I guess I know I'm getting ahead of myself there, but
yeah.
So yeah, fake Namek, kind of interesting in concept, not so much in execution.
like a pit stop, but you don't want to make it like a whole arc because it's gonna drag on. You're gonna hate it.
And the fact that it's simply known as just fake Namek.
Yeah.
Tells it just like how stupid the whole idea is.
All right, so back to Vegeta. So Vegeta's he's all healed up now. He really repeats this point, which I think is maybe a bit of a fillery thing. I'm not sure. He probably did reiterate this a lot in the manga too. I'm not sure, but we have the point that gets. Also, when you're playing through Kakarot, he does say it a lot too. So it's He makes the plot point that Saiyans get stronger after nearly dying in battle.
Yeah, he does say that a lot, and he does good like you. beat me to an inch of my life.
And that's the reason it's in there, so we can basically get away. I think it's for two reasons. So one for that scene, but I think overall, um, it's in parallel to Goku. This is where I'm reading into things here. In parallel to Goku, and this is kind of what we had in the Saiyan saga, which we're kind of developing here even further with the Goku and Vegeta ideology. So Goku, again, the whole nature versus nurture thing. Goku is the kind of the champion of nurture. You know, he was nurtured into being a good man and being lighthearted, not using his powers to hurt people.
And a bunk on the head helped with that.
Exactly. So Goku, the point being, Goku trains to get stronger. He's a low class warrior, very low bloodline, was not expected, like a power level like 2 or something, and he basically he was nurtured, and then basically he trained to get his strength. He's always constantly training, getting stronger, and again per the Master Roshi's teachings, right?
From Grandpa Gohan, Master Roshi, and everyone else afterwards who trained him.
Yes. So Vegeta, on the other hand, he relies. He's been coasting on his Saiyan bloodline, the Saiyan biology of it all, and the status. He's the prince of all Saiyans. He's a high class warrior. Nature. He's the champion of nature. He's all about and again, this whole Saiyans get stronger after nearly dying things. The idea if I just keep battling and battling, and I don't need to refine or really train. It's just if I fight until I nearly die, I will automatically get strong. So he still is not really subscribing to training. Vegeta still hasn't really trained yet, which completely shocked me when I started to go back to Dragon Ball. Like, oh my god, yeah, Vegeta never really. I mean, the only wrong he got experience, but he never really trained because he never thought he had to.
And to be fair, he did last this long without training. So
yeah,
think about it. He almost did win against the Earthlings.
But it's interesting, Vegeta never really pushed himself. He was just always kind of he was kind of coasting on the kind of an advantage his bloodline allotted him.
And like I said, it did pretty
ego
well.
is his superpower, essentially.
It pretty much did well for him for so long, and so naturally, his ego is going to take a bit of a bruising in this arc.
Oh yeah, we got to humble him a little.
I mean, this is where the real development of Vegeta really begins.
It's true.
Because obviously in the Saiyan saga, basically the entire tour was he's this cocky Saiyan prince, this cocky alien prince who's stronger than anyone they've ever fought.
And Goku, kind of screws him up. Goku and the Earthlings kind of show him up.
Yep, and that's essentially it. This is where we learn Deus Ex Machina's retcons, regardless, his history and what happened.
we have a comment here about the whole near death thing. So yes, the near death increase is referred to by fans as a Zenkai boost. The Saiyan has to heal to gain the boost, otherwise you die.
Which makes sense.
Yeah, that's right. So basically, the whole Dende healing thing is basically giving the power up.
Which we will get to.
Yeah. All right, let's see. So, you want to talk about Vegeta's backstory?
Yeah, it's because this arc really does go delve into Vegeta's history.
The filler there's at the tail end of everything, we have a bit of filler that makes no sense whatsoever. It's kind of a retcon that's just tacked on to we actually get some good backstory, then we get that, and it's that undercuts everything we just went through.
Yeah. All right, elaborate.
All right, so in essence, the backstory that we get here is that Frieza. Planet Vegeta wasn't wiped out by a meteor. It was wiped out by Frieza, who essentially had he was this all-powerful dictator. Now again, they don't really spell this out, but I'm sure somebody who's deep cuts would probably really know this. It might be in the manga somewhere as well. Just the idea that sounds like the Saiyans, some of this is per the filler and the Saiyan saga as well. But basically, the Saiyans going way back, they were kind of primitives and brutes, and they kind of took over all the Tuffles, the highly advanced technological but frail species on planet Vegeta, or at least what was planet Vegeta before it was named by King Vegeta, I guess. They they took over. So the Saiyans, they had the armor, they had the resources and everything, and presumably Frieza showed up, and then he took over, and kind of he basically partnered with the Saiyans, or basically kind of like brokered stuff with the Saiyans. Like Vegeta, like was Lord Frieza. Frieza became like kind of the emperor, where King Vegeta was like one rung right under Frieza, and seemingly a partnership. So Vegeta's father was the king of the planet.
A planet Vegeta.
Yep, where basically they brokered planets for Frieza, to take over, maybe sell or whatever, basically whatever resources Frieza wanted.
Or maybe just destroy them if they were.
Yeah, exactly. Just want to win, yeah.
So.
Yeah, so so we learned that Frieza's one day basically almost like the Egyptians and the slaves. There's this whole thing of like it's like the thing about Prince of Egypt. It's like that moment from Prince of Egypt.
Deliver us.
Well, yeah, but it's like that moment where it's like the slaves grew too numerous. Like they were just slaves. They grew to their numbers. They grew too numerous. So the idea of like again, if there's too many slaves, or there's too many of the populace, they could realize, wait a minute, we outnumber these guys. Let's rise up and take our bait. Or the better comparison, it's Bug's Life. It's the whole it's the whole ant point in A Bug's Life. Like the grain. It's the grain scene from A Bug's Life. That hurt? No.
How about that? How about this?
Well, that was Frieza's realization.
And he realized that any of them could potentially become a Super Saiyan.
It was very much the ants versus the grasshoppers. That was the whole being outnumbered by the Saiyans, and the Saiyans again, they grow powerful over time. Especially if they go out and conquer for them, they will get stronger. They'll realize this and they'll take over. Basically, if they all had the realization Vegeta ultimately had,
so basically, Frieza enacted a plan. Like he would still use the Saiyans, but when they get basically too powerful and start rising up, he would just blow them up along with their planet.
It started with King Vegeta, and then Bardock caught it like Goku's father caught it like when it was too late. Like he had the big realization as like kind of like an FU from like the last alien race that they kind of wiped out.
Yep.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, that's essentially the. So long and short, we'll probably touch on it a little bit more later on, but essentially that was that's kind of the backstory there. So we got a little bit of King Vegeta and everything, and Frieza basically took ownership of Vegeta. That's the element I completely forgot about. Young Vegeta was kind of kept away from his father at a certain age, guys. Basically Frieza's favorite little Saiyan.
He's like basically keeping a short leash on him.
Exactly. Anyway, so here's the retconny thing I didn't like.
Yeah.
So the at the very end, we have this thing where it's Nappa has an appearance. So it's Nappa and it's Nappa and Vegeta. I forget if Raditz had a cameo or not. I don't think he was.
Yeah, Raditz was there.
Okay. Oh, regardless, we had this bit where they're walking and talking. Basically, it sounds like Vegeta knew that Frieza killed his father and everything, but he didn't care. One, I don't like that. Two, it's like if he already knew then the whole scene with the Dory and like the main plot's kind of useless.
I don't know.
It just seemed the whole thing of like he knows that Frieza's like going to turn on him and everything and all this, and later on it's like it's suggested that kind of knows that Frieza like probably blew up the planet. Vegeta's smart. I get that he could piece it together. And Dory is kind of confirming suspicions there, but it's like to a point of like for him to know that early on as like a kid. I don't like that. I think that contradicts what we had earlier. But again, that's like filler. That's a filler part at the tail end of the thing, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from on that.
The point being, the main plot, Dodoria kind of confirms something, the Vegeta, a theory or like something Vegeta. And again, I like that we established though with that Dodoria scene that Vegeta. He's not upset that Frieza killed his father. He's more upset that it's the pride. It's the Saiyan pride. He's upset that they let Frieza get one over on him for all these years.
Oh, yeah. And not to mention, we learned that it wasn't a comet that destroyed planet Vegeta.
Yeah, that was Frieza. So again, it's...
I mean, to be fair, he kind of made it look like a comet.
Yeah.
So
with Vegeta's growth, I love that he refuses the word scouter now. He basically destroys it just as a screw you to the Zarbon and everybody.
Yeah, because he can now.
Or the Doria, I mean.
Wait, oh yeah, he has. Is it Zarbon or Dodorian?
No, Dodoria. So Dodoria shows that it's Dodoria first, and Vegeta makes quick work of Dodoria.
Like, yeah, because he can now read the power levels.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like the idea is, so one of the Namekians. So we're kind of jumping ahead. Like let's put a pin in the scatter thing just for a second.
Yeah, because we haven't gotten to the part where Krillin, Bulma, and Gohan land on Namek yet.
Yeah, that's the thing. Let's talk about Namek, and then we'll get told. Okay, so Namek, we finally arrive at the real Namek. Namek it's a lush, untainted world. It's peaceful. It's the way Namek works. It's like it's a planet full of Piccolos, and the way the Namekians work are essentially they produce asexually, very much like we saw in Dragon Ball with like how Piccolo had all the offspring.
Yeah.
And they're plant like they basically they drink water, and they have the option of eating fruit, but they don't really need to. But it's basically they feed on water. They're plants.
Which is kind of interesting because all their names are based off slugs.
Yeah. Like in the whole plant thing, slugs and plants, like cabbage slugs, or
Yep. Just like all the Saiyans are named after vegetables.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Toriyama liked puns.
Yes.
Like Frieza itself is a pun.
Well, yeah. Freezer.
Yep. Which is like, and like all of the Ginyu Force are named after things you find in a fridge.
Yep. So let's see. So
actually, I think all of his other members on the planet are named after things in a fridge as well.
Yes, that's right.
So
also with the Namekian way of life here. So basically, we have an elder, very much like we have the elder guru, who works a lot like Kami did, where he's like essentially the guardian of the planet. He's like the eldest Namekian. The eldest Namekian is the most powerful, and he's this kind of the de facto leader. And he basically has entrusted the Dragon. Instead of having to search all over the place for the Dragon Balls, they're entrusted to the other Namekian village, the other elders of the Namekian villages.
That's like he's the great elder, like the grand elder, and the other elders of the village.
Basically, it's a word.
He's like
seniority.
But I understand, like they're the elders, like he's the eldest.
Yeah, he's the eldest. He's the eldest. So the idea is like all the other ones are it's kind of based. It's leadership based by seniority.
And basically all the Namekians are his children.
Yeah, which is really nice.
Yep. And
you got to remember, we established this that every time a Namekian reproduces, makes a new one, that they become a little weaker.
Yep. And like Kami, if he dies, the Dragon Balls go as well.
Correct. So the problem, Vegeta is not the only one on the hunt for the Dragon Balls for his wish of immortality. So is Frieza. So we meet Frieza.
And we're first introduced to him terrorizing a village.
So we have a design principle of Toriyama, which is short equals evil.
Except for Krillin.
Well, that's true, except for Krillin.
and Gohan and Goten and
okay, kids don't really count with that. We're talking about villains who are not kids who are short.
And then, well, even then, Krillin doesn't really work with that. Krillin's
he started as a kid with Goku. They were both short.
Yeah, but he's still not exactly tall nowadays.
Okay. Anyway.
I know. I mean, I was just pulling your leg with the whole kids thing, but Gohan, but Krillin is kind of an exception to the short equals evil kind of thing.
Yes. The point being, we have a recurring thing of a lot of short antagonists in Dragon Balls. Not perfect, but
I mean, like an early example being like, there's Pilaf,
he thought he was evil, but
But then also Commander Red.
Yep.
Whose wish to the Dragon Balls would be tall, make himself taller, which funnily enough became Frieza's wish in Super Broly.
Yep.
So,
oh, yeah.
so apparently being short also got to Frieza. But all right, but as you were saying.
Anyway. So oh yeah, so Frieza, with that principle, I love that he is like, we have like the devil horns and everything on him, and he's like in the little floating chair. I always love the floating chair. I just love it, like he'd basically destroy the whole planet, not even getting up from his chair. He destroyed planet Vegeta just from the comfort of his chair. That's still such an evil scene in the Bardock the father of Goku, where he just like the he just laughs as he has like the little beam that turns into the giant energy ball, like planet controlling energy ball.
Where he's like this is stupendous. You mean that one?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, that's like basically just showing how effortless it is for him.
Yep.
Like he can just literally with just like a little flick of his finger raise an entire planet.
Nothing. So Frieza, just this dictator who's kind of very genocidal. He's just very much he'll wipe out all the Namekians to get what he wants, and he just doesn't. It's the whole this. He doesn't care about I want to say human life, Namekian. Doesn't care about Namekian life. Like they're all underlings. They're all it's worth again. Because the idea really is that Frieza's the most feared person in the galaxy, because up to this point, Frieza is like the most powerful. Has like a power level of, I think technically it's like law to like over 530,000 or something.
And even in his base form, probably.
Probably, I don't know, but
here's the thing, like. So yeah, definitely, he is definitely the most powerful. Definitely powerful. I don't know. I had a point, but I lost it.
So Frieza is very powerful, but he's also it's like he feigns the pleasantries and being cordial, but he's still so remarkably cruel. Like he'll like try and negotiate that kind of evil. He feels very much like an Indiana Jones villain,
Kind of like he's negotiate in quotation marks.
Yeah.
And he does kind of seem like Toke or Belloc in that kind of sense.
Absolutely.
Except he's closer to someone else, and then someone else. Then I don't know.
Okay.
As you mentioned, Space Hitler.
Yeah. So Elizabeth. So we have the Frieza Force.
Yes, not the Ginyu Force. But
No. So I gotta admit, the Frieza Force, in retrospect, looking back on this, so the Frieza Force essentially like the alien soldiers in Saiyan armor. Like we saw one of the first glimpses we had of this, we had like Vegeta's rival Kui, who he makes quick work of early on. And we have basically Frieza's top guys are the Dory and Zarbon. That's kind of his entourage he has before the Ginyu Force shows up. But it's all of these guys cannon fodder for Vegeta.
pretty much.
And again, I like that if you look, especially with like Bardock, the father of Goku, and everything, and all this, it's like the Doria and Zarbon. They're like, they all have ties to what went down there on planet Vegeta. Along with Kui, like those were like the most important guys of the Frieza Force. Only Vegeta's like rival was Kui, and like the Doria is like the one that like I think Bardock's team I think was killed by the Doria and everything. So basically, the Doria really went after Bardock and the Goku family side of things, and Zarbon was just like he's like the. Feels a lot like General Blue. It's kind of helped that Chris Sabat does the voice of like Zarbon, doing like kind of a pretty boy. So so Dodoria reveals to Vegeta about the meteor being a lie, and that Vegeta basically eradicated based on the Bug's Life principle. Saiyans grew too numerous, couldn't let him rise up, and Vegeta seeks revenge out of pride and not love for his father. However, I know I'm reiterating what I said earlier, but I just want to say I think Vegeta deep down, I think he's just knowing where this character goes, and he is first and foremost, it's his pride, but also his Bulma, but in conjunction with his Bulma, it's his family, the sense of family, which he kind of gets over time. So he doesn't have that yet, but I really think because of that, there's a scene we're going to get to in the Android Saga. I always took to heart. I always loved it. It very much felt like Vegeta did love his father, and he didn't have a lot of time with his father. And Frieza was obviously the cause of that. Even though Vegeta's saying he's not bothered by it, and he's probably technically isn't, but I still think deep down he wanted to become his father. He had reverence for his father.
And when he was talking about what happened to like how Frieza basically ruined his life, he does cry.
Yeah, that's the thing. And I think that's Vegeta kind of like putting on a brave face with the Doria there, where I think deep down he does, like, he is doing a lot of this for his father.
Yeah.
All right. So,
but we also notice in that scene they're not above killing children.
Yeah, they kill Dodoria kills some young Namekian children, almost kills Dende.
Yep, thank God he didn't.
Now this was an awesome moment, by the way. So Gohan and Krillin. So we should mention this too. So the Frieza Force, they stranded. They see this whole invading army was there, and they were going to send Bulma back, and Bulma can't go because, unfortunately, Bulma can't go because
she can't fight.
Yeah, but that's the thing. So the Frieza Force, they damaged the ship, so they're now stranded there.
But she finds refuge in a cave where she had packed a house.
Yep, capsule, nice.
We can literally say she packed a house.
That's true. So it's kind of like in Back to the Future too, how we're stuck with Jennifer.
Yep.
It's a lot like that. It's a lot like Bulma. We're just kind of
well, at least she had to pilot the ship.
Like on the way to there, and then she's just useless afterwards.
Yeah.
You're right though. Versus Jennifer, yeah, but it's just the fact that Bulma, again, she's just complaining and whining, and the filler that we give her during this arc, the whole thing of she's supposed to babysit a Dragon Ball, and she ends up she loses in the water, and then she has to get into a sub, and then she's like, "Ooh, a pearl! I could be rich. You're already rich, Bulma. What do you want?"
And I said the dream where Vegeta attacks her.
Yeah, we've had that, and then she switches places with the Ginyu Frog. It's again.
The dream where she's attacked by Vegeta wasn't bad, but I did like to remember the scene where it's like, nobody makes a fool of Vegeta. Yeah. And I was like, no, he does that all by himself.
Yep.
Vegeta's Kirk. The only person to make a fool out of Vegeta is most of the time Vegeta.
Yeah. So I gotta admit, with the Frieza Force in total, it does really occur to me that the problem with the Frieza Force is so I'm kind of jumping. I'm going to save when we get to the Ginyu Force. So I'm sorry. Let me put a pin in. Okay, we'll get there. Sorry.
All right.
Zarbon. So we have Zarbon fighting Vegeta, and this is like Vegeta. That was the meet cute for him and for Vegeta and Bulma, where he shows up and he basically threatens to kill Bulma.
Yep.
That's a little flag to plant there, but that's it's very much like threatening to kill her if Krillin doesn't hand over the Dragon Ball. But Krillin and Gohan, they saved Dende, and that gave away their position to Frieza, which of course is not great. But the good news, they made friends with those really goodwill with the Namekians, and they befriended Dende, and
who has a very special power.
Well, he gets that later on.
Well, gains a very special power.
That's the thing. So yeah, Guru by the way did that. So that's the thing. So they befriend the Namekians and Guru basically he gives them the Dragon Ball and also unlocks their powers. So unlocks the power within it gives them big power ups. So Krillin, Gohan, and Dende. So now able to heal people after that.
Dende's Guru's a very wise, kind old man, basically.
Yeah.
And he's also huge.
Well, yeah.
If you've seen the abridged version of Guru, he's basically the opposite character in that.
God.
Dude, you just need to just see what they do with him in that series, and you'll be kind of surprised if you're more familiar with this.
Right. Okay. Lucas Green in the comments said Bulma wasn't useless. She tipped Gohan off at the hidden Dragon Ball in the lake. Well, yeah, but she also could just give them the Dragon Radar before they left.
Yep.
Look, I'm not saying we can't. I'm not saying Bulma shouldn't have come along, but in part, it feels like maybe the ship shouldn't have been damaged and she should have gone back.
We also meet Guru's guardian, Nail.
Yeah, so Nail, I believe Nail is voiced by Sean Schimmel.
Yep. Yeah, he is. I understand he is.
Yeah, Nail was great. I love Nail's a very underrated Dragon Ball Z character. He's a dutiful. He's kind of Dende's older brother, and obviously there's some Piccolo parallels with the whole Dende's Gohan. Nail is Piccolo.
Yep.
Yeah. So, it was nice. I love that Nail very heroically he held his own against Frieza. Man, it was very brave of him. Got beaten near to an inch of his life, but
and ultimately, with Frieza only using 1% of his power.
Yep.
But
well, not really. No. The Frieza, he used that 1% when he was fighting Goku, so that's still,
Yep, he barely used 1% of his power against Nail.
Yeah.
So maybe he used a fraction of a percent of a
Yeah,
power
he used whatever a fraction of a percent is.
against Nail.
Yep.
But I mean, don't get me wrong, Nail did admirably,
Yes.
but he does find help.
Yeah.
We'll get to that later on.
Yep.
We're kind of jumping all over the place,
Yeah.
but then again, so does the saga itself.
Exactly. Okay, let's see. So, let's see. Where should we go? Okay, so Zarbon. So we have Vegeta fighting Zarbon. Those are the other things. When Zarbon shows up, Bulma's like hitting on Zarbon, thinking like, "Oh man, he's so good. He's so good looking."
Like he's here to save me from Vegeta.
And that's what I'm saying. So that's like a bit of a. You get the idea. Toriyama maybe wants to do a bit. I have a feeling probably did. Look, I don't know if this part was in the manga or not, but it maybe feels like more of like, okay, let's just do a throwback to Dragon Ball of like her during the General Blue fight, which Krillin was there for.
Yep.
She was hitting on General Blue, but let's just say he was a sailor. He was a Navy man.
Yep. I know exactly what you mean, Dragon.
Yep.
So, and in this case, though, it's like it is kind of a bit maybe like retroactive dramatic irony.
Yep.
Considering she's hitting on Zarbon, it's like, oh, you're here to save me, and also in front of the man who would become her future husband.
Which is funny.
Yep. Retroactively.
All right. Anyway, so Vegeta fights Zarbon. This kind of foreshadows. And now, to be fair, I think is early on they had the. I forget if earlier on they had the encounter with Zarbon. I forget when exactly. Because so much happens in this arc, but essentially, when Vegeta initially fought Zarbon kind of got the upper hand because he transformed into his monstrous form. Now,
he's so vain though.
yes, it was great too. By the way, so
yeah.
So Vegeta, after this, basically during one of these after the initial Zarbon encounter, they needed information on the Dragon Balls because Vegeta, he grabbed one and hit it, so he had the advantage there. So they basically, they healed Vegeta up on the ship, and Vegeta cleverly kind of used it as a Trojan horse to escape after he got healed up. And he basically took all 5 of Frieza's Dragon Balls out from under his nose, and so Zarbon was tasked with getting it back, or else Frieza was going to kill him.
So yeah, it's basically a game of hot potato with the Dragon Balls.
Yeah, and there's a lot of like cat and mouse. Like for example, Krillin and Gohan are trying to not alert Vegeta to their presence because they just fought him on Earth, and they definitely don't want to fight him without Goku.
Yep.
So there's a lot of like cat and mouse kind of like hiding, and like the fish jumps out, that kind of stuff.
Yep, and also the Dragon Balls in Namek are huge.
Yeah, that was always the thing as a kid. Like the Namekian Dragon, like how big the Dragon Balls were, always threw me.
Yep, they're like the other ones those ones could be called orbs, like little orbs. These ones are
bowling balls.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
They're huge.
Yes. Is there anything else in this arc?
It is, like I said, everything's big in this arc.
Yep.
And even Guru himself, he's huge.
Yes.
You think do Namekians get bigger with age? Well, then again, that really doesn't make sense.
I don't know. I mean, technically, here's the thing: the Namekians can change size. We saw that with Piccolo and Lord Slug, who's like an ancient Namekian. The older a Namekian gets, the bigger they could be. So I think maybe it's like an age thing as well.
But then again, young Piccolo was able to do that, and he was only like a couple years old.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think maybe like in a natural state they could. I mean, it might just have opted to stay large, but I don't know.
I have no idea.
Okay.
I mean, maybe you're right.
All right. So, meanwhile, while all this is going on, Vegeta snagged the Dragon Balls, and he's going after the other ones. Gohan very cleverly, we have a lot of keep away stratagem at play here. The whole clever, which look, it's clever and it's refreshing in terms of a Dragon Ball hunt that we haven't seen before. It's like on a planet that we've never been to, which on one hand, and
it is nice to have Gohan involved in the Dragon Ball search.
Yeah, like on one hand, again, the way we do the Dragon Ball hunt, I think it works really well plot wise in terms of finding the Dragon Balls and hiding them, keeping them away. On the flip side, it's like, down the line with Dragon Ball GT, they basically took this concept and they ran with it and really they ran into the ground. Versus Namek was pure and simple. You knew where everything was roughly. It wasn't like an impossible search.
Wasn't GT like the Dragon Balls were scattered through space?
That's the thing. So it was like across all sorts of different planets.
which is an interesting concept.
Well, they were trying to make it like the original, search, like the Pilaf Saga search for the Dragon Balls, just more galactic. But they kind of ran out of planet ideas, and it kind of shows.
I haven't watched any of GT, so I'll take not yet anyway. So I'll take your word for it.
It was an admirable attempt, but it was they ran into problems pretty fast. And honestly, the main problem was when they amidst the search, they got sidetracked in a big way, and it was like it took over the main plot, and they kind of distracted you from finding the Dragon Balls, and that was the problem. Anyway, so point being, Gohan, really brave moment where he found the 4-star ball very appropriately that Vegeta had hidden.
Yep.
And,
after burying all the dead Nameks.
Yeah.
Vegeta thought he was clever by hiding it in the lake.
Yep.
And then later, the funny thing is, Vegeta can sense power levels, but not Dragon Balls.
Well, yeah, you can't sense Dragon Balls.
I know, but you can pick them up on a radar.
Well, yeah.
Yep. So it's and the thing is, when Vegeta confronts Gohan and surprisingly doesn't kill him, if you would have just craned his neck just a little downwards, you would have noticed the Dragon Ball.
Yeah, but again, it's the ego of Vegeta where he wanted to play. Again, I love that Gohan took one for the team. He took like that punch in the gut,
And it paid off.
Yep, or like the knee to the gut.
And it probably made him stronger.
Yeah, it was. I think it's. This is going to sound corny, but that was a moment that would have made Piccolo proud.
He stood up to Vegeta.
Stood up to Vegeta, and he took one for the team, and outwitted Vegeta. It was like,
I don't think that's corny. I think both Goku and Piccolo would be proud of that.
Yeah.
I mean, Goku's basically proud of anything that Gohan does.
Yeah.
Except for staying behind on Namek while it's exploding, but we'll get to that.
Speaking of Goku.
If he's like Yajirobe finally arrives with gifts from Corn, Senzu beans.
Yes, and of course, like the medical staff are like in awe, like, oh my god.
Like don't give him any strange food.
Yep. So he's fresh as a daisy, and thankfully, while he's been healing, Dr. Briefs has built a Saiyan, basically a spaceship that's inspired and modeled after the Saiyan pod.
Actually, also can we speak of him? Like how Chi-Chi was actually making a sweater for Gohan. It's like, oh look, are you making it? Like, this isn't for you, it's for Gohan.
Yeah, but she was lying to him. She was actually making him a sweater.
Which is actually nice, and it does show that Chi-Chi, despite everything in it, still does love and care for Goku.
Yeah. I still miss those newlywed years.
Yeah, you and me both. But like she was sleeping, and then you could see the very large sweater she was making for him, which is like, aw. She does care.
It's cute.
And remember, whenever he imagines the Earth being destroyed, who's the first person Goku thinks of?
Chi-Chi. Exactly. Yep, his pet name for Chi-Chi is?
No.
It was my little meal ticket.
She gives him food.
Yep.
She feeds him.
Yep. Of course, when she wants to punish Goku, she wears the nurse's outfit. When she wants to reward Goku, she wears like the lunch lady outfit or like the apron.
It's very weird, very weird marital thing there. Like, oh Goku, I got food.
Just comes out with the ladle.
It's like, hey.
Yep.
And then it's like, or when she wants to punish him, like, I got the needle. No, don't make me use the needle, Goku.
Oh, okay. All right.
Just having a bit of fun there, but I'm just saying, it just shows how much they both actually do care for each other.
So I completely forgot about this joke, and it's hilarious. So Dr. Brees has built the awesome space capsule, which I love.
And he's also not worried that it's not ready yet because
the cappuccino machine's not working yet.
And this is like one of the few times that Goku, I think, does one of the face plants.
Yep.
It's like, I don't need a cappuccino machine.
Well, you'll say that now, but wait until you get in there. Then you're going to need the cappuccino machine.
but he basically says, I don't need it, Dr. Breeze. I need to go now. And it's a good thing he had him expedite that, because if Dr. Breeze hadn't backed down, he would have basically, the universe would be a lot different right now.
That's true. So yeah, man, I love the whole lack of the cappuccino machine gag. It was so funny. Of course, Dr. Breeze, as we set him up, he's kind of the absent-minded scientist, but he's
he's kind of like since we mentioned Back to the Future earlier, he is kind of a Doc Brown.
A little bit.
I mean, he's able to make a device in a ship that can, produce 100 G's of gravity. 100 G's, that doesn't make any sense. 100 times gravity. But the thing he's worried about is a cappuccino machine.
Yep.
Was that part filler, or was that standard Toriyama humor?
I don't know. I mean, it feels like Toriyama humor. It could have been a throwaway line, but I don't think they gave as much.
I mean, it fits. Don't get me wrong.
All the stuff where Goku's like repairing the ship in space and everything, that's filler.
I mean, I realize that.
Yeah. I like that though. I mean, I like Goku had some obstacles, while he was in space. But
I mean, and that didn't drag on too long though.
Honestly, the best part of it was like the gravity was going haywire, and that's how he ended up training at 100 times gravity. It's kind of cool.
I mean, yeah. At least they tied it into his training.
Yeah, so I love the idea that he can train in here for like with the 100 times gravity. I thought that was a really cool idea, just taking the gravity to the next level, which explains how he got strong and so strong in 6 days.
And speaking of kind of like Toriyama humor, I don't know if it actually is a Toriyama joke, but he's like, "Is that all?" Like when after a workout, he goes like, he's going to get something to eat. He goes like, "Is that all there is?" And then it's like a fridge like stocked with more food than most people have in a year.
Yep. So I mean, it feels Toriyama.
Yep. It's like a stocked fridge with like more food than most people would eat in a year.
It's basically a 12-day trip, so.
Pretty much, yeah. And I love the fact that he's like, beer, I don't need this. Dr. Breeze added beer to his freezer. He's like, energy drink.
All right, so meanwhile, King Kai.
Can you imagine Junk Goku?
No. We've seen Drunk Gohan, though.
Yeah, in Dead Zone, I think, right?
Yes.
Because I just watched that recently.
Yes.
which is kind of funny, but kind of Pink Elephants-esque.
Yeah.
But as you were saying.
Okay, so King Kai, he's training the Z fighters, pretty much, again, like I said, throughout the series, the idea is that, Goku's friends are always going to be perpetually, in his shadow, chasing him, chasing his success, chasing the stuff that he went through, so they can get strong like Goku did.
And basically, throughout this entire thing, King Kai's acting as like a radio sports announcer, telling everyone what's going on.
Yeah, which often King Kai does.
Obviously, and speaking of King Kai, I love
how never get tired of Sean Schimmel doing King Kai's voice. He's just comedy gold.
I still can't believe that's King Kai. Not Sean Schimmel.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not denying Sean Schimmel's talent. Don't get me wrong. Because I've heard him shred his vocal cords screaming as Goku stuff.
Yep.
But the thing is, I love later on when King Kai's trying to communicate with Goku. He's like, if you don't respond right now, I'm gonna start telling jokes. It's like he knows his jokes, basically using them as a threat.
I love the gag where Goku's kind of insulted King Kai's food before, oh, well, it wasn't great, but I ate it. and on here it's like King Kai is getting praised for his food by Yamcha, Tien, and Jiaozu's eating everything. He's I usually like to make good food for my my students.
Yep.
He's being flattered, and it's really cute.
Yep.
All right, so they have a little arc with their, this is the kind of filler I liked, and I really did like, or it feels part of the course where, okay, so we see what that training entails for everyone, including Piccolo, who'd be the reluctant one of the bunch, who thinks, they all have to tell jokes, and Piccolo he refuses to do so. Yeah, so all that was great. I will say this though. Later on, the one bit of filler the training of King Kai's I didn't care for. Them fighting the Ginyu Force.
Yeah, that didn't really make a lot of sense after
It
that.
didn't
It's like, and even King Kai is like, I invited those guys.
Yeah, that's the thing. The idea King Kai, he somehow talked King Evan into sending them to train to train Z fighters. I mean, at least if there had been no explanation like that, it would have made no sense whatsoever. Those guys, the idea it's like you get your body back as you put in a special request, or it's like Kami gives you the approval or something like that happens. No way those guys would be approved unless it was for that express purpose.
Yep.
Yeah. Anyway, so while that's going on, we have Frieza and his troops laying waste to Namek again. Terrible, ruthless holocaust of everything. Again, we saved Dende. So the Namekian Dragon Balls, we learn, not only just Link to Guru, who is dying, so there's a ticking clock at play, which, good dramatic measure for our story.
Yeah.
We get 3 wishes. There's something. We went genie logic with it. We made the dragon look kind of like a genie.
Yeah, but we also learned that there are limits.
Yeah, so there are limits to these. It's much like a genie wish.
So in some ways, the Earth Dragon is more powerful, and in some
he can't make people fall in love. He can't bring. Well, this one
can
bring people.
This one can bring people back from the dead more than once.
But he doesn't like doing it.
Yeah, but I said so. In some ways, the Earth Dragon is more powerful. In some ways, the Namekian one's more powerful.
So I love their pros and cons.
Yeah.
So basically, it's conditioned. So you 3 wishes, but you got to speak the dragon's name and wish in Namekian. So there's kind of 2 safeguards. There's only the Namekians can make wishes.
And also, like it can bring people back to life, but only one person at a time.
I love that. Was a big reveal I was watching for the first time. It was like, oh my god. Oh, now logically, what they should have done,
yeah,
is we revive Piccolo. I guess ultimately we've been revive Piccolo, send Frieza away, and probably revive Chiaotzu.
Could they have well, then again, would that be beyond the dragon's power? To do the thing with Frieza?
Well, you're right. Okay, Frieza might. Well, that's the thing. If they're not wishing him dead or defeated. They're just wishing him away. If they could have wished him the sun
but then he'd come back.
Unless they put him in the sun.
Frieza could probably survive that.
That's true. Well, the point being, they could have done something with Frieza.
I mean, remember he can breathe in space and could survive the planet's explosion. If he had more energy.
Yeah.
And as the super reveals, he does survive this still.
And we wish Frieza was quadriplegic.
He can fly though, and he usually uses a chair anyway.
Oh yeah. No, it's just a chair though. It might not have limbs.
No.
I don't know.
It just raises too many questions.
You're right. Okay. The point being, look, the thing to remember is that Chiaotzu again has been brought back already. So in theory, he would be the one you would have to revive on Namek. And
also later Krillin.
Yeah.
But we'll get to that.
But again, at the time was alive.
Yes.
Okay. So the point being, they learn about the 3 wishes. Vegeta learns about this too, so he decides to team up with them, and they really have to team up because the Ginyu Force gets summoned. Because now Vegeta's laid waste to Frieza's top men. Top men.
And yeah, it does make you wonder why he didn't have the Ginyu Force there in the first place.
So that's what I want to talk about. This is what I filed away for now. Okay, so with the Ginyu Force, it really feels like we either should have reduced the Frieza Force to probably, Dodoria, Zarbon, Kui, and the Ginyu Force. Maybe like one handful of underlings beyond that. They should have minimized the maybe. Even that, we probably don't need those guys. The point being, if these guys are so tough,
Yeah.
We should have either reduced things to be just the Ginyu Force and our key players, or no Ginyu Force at all, if you want the name of all the soldiers of the Frieza Force and everything, because it feels like it raises the bigger question as to, okay, why would if Frieza has access to this many like really strong guys in Saiyan armor, why would he keep the Saiyans around, like the three that lived?
And I think it's just to have like this army of all these subjugated races again under him. Like probably as like a power move.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, I know he kind of wants like a collection of different races and everything, but it feels like why wouldn't he just like keep Vegeta? You know?
Maybe he thought they were useful.
I mean, mate, but you see what I'm saying? If he has people that are almost as strong, if not stronger, like the Ginyu Force, than Vegeta at this point, why doesn't he send them to the planets instead of Vegeta
Well,
and the Saiyans? Like instead of just keeping the guys, hey, I wasted their entire planet, and I was kind of afraid of them.
yeah, I'm not sure.
Okay, so here's a Toriyama joke.
Yeah.
So the Ginyu Force essentially is the most gag manga element we have in the story.
And the fact that they're inspired by Super Sentai.
Mm-hmm.
With all the dramatic poses, the calling out the attacks, that kind of thing.
So the posing and just the initial gag where they arrive and they do the big pose for Frieza, and Frieza has like speechless, like the dot dot dot. That's Toriyama.
Yep.
Right there.
You're familiar with at least Super Sentai, right?
Yeah, it's like kind of like the Power Rangers thing, right?
Well, like it's what Saban turned up into the Power Rangers.
Yeah. So it's kind of the basis for that.
Yep. And keep in mind, Sentai, like Super Sentai, has been around since like the '60s. So
Yeah.
Toriyama is like very well established and beloved in Japan. So Toriyama probably grew up watching it as well.
Yeah.
And it's not the only series to like have Super Sentai references like that.
Sure.
But it's probably one of the most famous, though.
Anyway, so just to break down the Ginyu Force, we got Gildo. We have Gildo.
Isn't it Goldo?
Yeah, Guldo.
Berter.
Raccoon.
Yeah.
Go on.
I'm trying to remember. I know there's obviously Ginyu.
Yeah, and
Jace.
Yeah, there you go. A well-balanced breakfast.
Pretty much. Yep, they're all named after things Toriyama finds in his fridge.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, do you want to explain what each of the names mean?
No, Jacob, you do the food translations.
Well, I'm not sure. It's like
that's why I didn't bring it up.
Well, I'm not gonna do it right now. Then
the point being, yes, they are named after food you'd find in the refrigerator. Ergo, Frieza being the fridge.
At least in Japanese, their names are based on things in the fridge. Like Goldo's name is based on yogurt, from what apparently.
Yeah.
Jace is most likely juice.
That one I do know. Butter.
Burter. Yeah. Yep. So and Raccoon, I think, is supposed to be like cream.
Yeah.
And Ginyu, Captain Ginyu, his name is based on the Japanese word for cow's milk.
Yep.
So yeah, basically things you find in a fridge.
Okay, so real quick, with the whole
Toriyama was hungry when he wrote this.
He's always hungry. He writes hungry, that Toriyama.
Pretty much, yeah.
So the Ginyu Force, in terms of the pacing of the arc, things really do it's kind of the middle of things. And it's kind of an extended middle that ultimately you either like or you don't like. It's very cuttable, or it's something we could have cut things around to make room for, Ultimately, it feels, the Ginyu Force in the grand scheme of things very much feels like, we're hitting an action mandate. We had like some stratagem early on, but we've been going too long without true blue action with our heroes, so we got to have them all fight somebody. And the Ginyu Force is cool. It's diverse. It's kind of our gag manga elements. There's nothing wrong with the Ginyu Force, but it definitely feels like, it goes on for a while. The fact that we have like a Ginyu saga within, like a mini saga within things, it felt like too much.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, exactly. Like, the Ginyu Force was pretty neat, but
yeah.
And obviously, and basically, it shows us like even Vegeta's kind of outclassed by them, and don't get me wrong, the whole like rock paper scissors thing was kind of fun too.
Yeah.
But it was just like they keep doing the same. It just like happens multiple times. It's like, okay, just pick who to fight already.
Yeah. Okay, so I want to talk about the dub.
Yeah.
So, brief history on. I mentioned this a little at the sense. I promise I'm not going to keep going with this every saga, but this is the one I really have to talk about it here. I told you about this already. I'm just going to condense it here for the folks. So, here's the history of how the dub works with Dragon Ball, the American dub. I know there's several other languages that are more hilarious when you watch them, as Jacob has learned and shown me, but we're going to focus on the main dub here. So essentially, when Dragon Ball was dubbed in English way back when, it started as the Ocean dub, or the Pioneer dub, if you go by home video.
Which was, to be fair, was contracted by Funimation.
Yes. So you had the Ocean dub, and essentially that's when you have like the voices that were not Sean Schimmel and Chris Sabat and everything. Yeah. So then, eventually it goes over to Funimation. Funimation being, there's the first in the beginning you had the Ocean dub, which then went to the Funimation dub, which basically is what aired on Toonami and got put on like the individual DVD sets, which is kind of like how I experienced Dragon Ball. And then they did the Orange Bricks, which basically was they went back and they redubbed all the Ocean stuff, because that's what I'm saying. It's like as a straight line, you had the Ocean dub to then transition to Funimation during this arc, during like the Ginyu saga. So this is where it started. So basically, we first got Sean Schimmel Goku like towards when he's fighting Captain Ginyu. That's essentially where Sean Schimmel Goku starts.
All right.
All right, so then after point being, from then on, it's Funimation. It goes to them and they do the dub, and that's how we get the iconic voices and everything. And then when they get to the end of all that, they look back on, what, we should go back and we should dub over the Ocean stuff for home video, and that's where we get the Orange Bricks from. Orange Bricks being the easily accessible, like kind of flawed collection of all the Dragon Ball stuff. Keeps getting re-released, even though it's kind of faulty. But I don't want to bore people with that stuff. The point being, the takeaway is that this arc kind of cobbled together like those two dubs, the Ocean dub and the Funimation dub. So if you watch it just kind of like on those original home videos, it's very jarring. But when we get the voices that we know and love and kind of go onward, it's great, and it's kind of that's where my nostalgia is. So I kind of have that's basically what I watched for these purposes. Now, Jacob watched the presumably maybe a cleaned up version of the Orange Brick is my guess. I'm not 100%. Unfortunately, we haven't really hashed out like all the specifics. It sounds like he got a quality version. I don't know.
I'm watching the version that's currently on Crunchyroll.
That's what I'm saying. Like Crunchyroll did a dub as well, and I mean it's essentially
Well, the Crunchyroll dub is like it's the same one that Funimation did.
That's what I mean.
It's copyrighted in like 2012 or something like that.
Yeah, so when I said like the Crunchyroll dub, I just mean like there is a home release that is like Crunchyroll and Funimation both did a release of the series, and I don't know what changes Crunchyroll did, and if the changes that Crunchyroll did are the same ones that are on the Crunchyroll stream, which
Funimation is now Crunchyroll. So.
Yeah.
So yeah. That adds even more confusion.
I know. All I'm saying is like whatever you had on Crunchyroll, the streaming service. I don't know if they put that on the separate Crunchyroll box set. I don't know though. I know I'm confusing people getting all the box sets. Here's my operative point. Okay, just forget all that. Here's what I'm getting at. Okay, the version I watched is like when they released them like 3 episodes at a time on DVD. That's essentially what I watched, and that was the first time they ever recorded with the Funimation crew when they went forward. So with that, it's kind of the thing with any animated show where as they go through it, it's like they're settling into the characters. So even though I think the dialogue's probably more on point than when they went back and they had like a lot of faulty kind of recordings here and there, which like so many videos will like list out like all the weird line revisions and stuff. It's kind of that thing where it's like, look at The Simpsons. It's before The Simpsons settled into, sounding the way those characters definitively sound, right?
Yeah.
Like with any show. And it's like, for example, like Sean Schimmel's Goku is, it's a little, he's not comfortable in the character yet. So he's a little stiff, little white hat, he's a little like very kind of wooden in terms of, yeah, you must stop this, Frieza, that kind of that kind of stuff.
I mean, you can probably, based on the version I can know, from what I'm getting at right now, you can kind of tell like this was like early dubbing. Like it's like you will not do well, Frieza, that kind of thing.
Yeah, a little bit.
Where it doesn't feel as natural.
Yeah, and Vegeta, Chris Sabat's Vegeta is still great, but it's kind of like Kevin Conroy at the start of Batman animated series, where Conroy at the beginning, and I love it. And it's still definitively Batman to me, so it still works for me with Vegeta. It's that this was a before he really deepened the Vegeta voice, so it's a little lighter, but it's kind of making him sound like kind of the gruff, kind of bratty Prince kind of sound.
Yep.
Because now when he goes back to do it, and there's it's very kind of dark and cool and everything. It's kind of naturally how Vegeta. It's like a well-worn glove. This is when he's breaking it in the first time.
Yep. Exactly.
Okay, that's my dub tangent. We're just gonna move on. So, just want to get in there historically for our purposes here, so I won't have to mention it again. We've talked about how the dub works. That's essentially the dub I'm working off of, and that's kind of how it historically started. And then basically now it's like redubbed and kind of with the kind of the voices as we all know them now.
Man, we're basically following the same thing. I mean, maybe some minor differences, but
like for example, for some reason they I don't know if they fixed this later on. We see him later on, like in the Cell Saga or not, because he pops up so rarely after this. Tien's voice is way off in like the early Funimation dub, and I don't know why.
No idea.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And yeah, because I can hear Jacob being bored right now. Oh my god.
Sorry, I wasn't bored. I was readjusting.
Okay. So anyway, so with the fight, just long and short. So Raccoon, bit of karma for Vegeta. We easily kill off Gildo. We behead him. Raccoon is kind of karma for Vegeta in that he's basically seeing everything he's throwing at the guys. He's getting uglier and uglier, but he's not really being, he's not taking him down. It's kind of what everyone was going up against with Nappa. So he's kind of saying, oh, that's what it was like. Yep. And Raccoon, very gruesomely, he breaks Gohan's neck.
Yep.
Doesn't snap it, but he breaks it.
Thank God he didn't die.
Yeah, that's the thing. So thankfully, Goku arrives, kind of like you did.
After 6 days.
After 6 days, Goku arrives.
It is kind of interesting that Goku's ship managed to get there in 6 days, where Krillin, Bulma, and Gohan had to go for a month.
Yeah. Well, remember, they got sidetracked with the whole fake Namek thing.
I know, but even then their ship would have been taking a month.
All right. Well, I remember, actually, it was supposed to be... Well, you know what? I think the Space Orphans told him to be 14 days.
I don't know.
Okay, the point being, you're right. It's more than 6 days anyway. Slicing.
Goku arrives, and basically proceeds to scare the Ginyu Force.
Yeah, so he takes out Raccoon with I love this. This is always hilarious to me. I'm sorry, he's left yourself wide open. It's just kind of because he's doing the pose.
Yep. He doesn't have the class for the pose.
Nope. Anyway, so then we have the so then they have Burger and Jason. He quickly. I love this. Was great. This is like kind of filler I like though, where it's the idea of like they're. Goku is he's moving so fast they can't even touch him.
Yep.
And he's not budging at all, and they're freaked out by it. So he takes that Burger really quick, and then Jace he shows mercy to Jace, who then runs to Mom. He runs to Captain Ginyu.
Yep, much to Vegeta's consternation.
So this is great. So this is excellent stuff for the arc here. This is Goku and Vegeta their debate about mercy, where Vegeta is very impressed. He's actually he's shown a lot of respect to Goku here in that he sees him and he's thinking, could he actually be a Super Saiyan, like the warrior Saiyan of legend?
But he begins to think that he's the Super Saiyan now.
Well, that's Vegeta's ego. Like before Goku showed up, he thought he was, or he basically bluffed his way into saying that he was. And again, it was his genuine pride and ego that I'm getting stronger. I'm the Super Saiyan. And then of course Goku's outclasses him just so easily, and
Yep.
So he respects Kakarot, but he never, but he just doesn't understand mercy. He views it as weakness, and he has a point though. Vegeta does have a bit of a point
when it comes to the Ginyu Force and Frieza.
Yeah. But that's the thing. I love that that's a great foreshadow. And that's what I really love about it, looking at our story and rewatching, is that this little debate there is actually kind of a warning for what happens. It kind of predicts what happens with Ginyu and with Frieza.
Well, exactly.
Yeah, so I mean that's great. It's kind of, but it's also again ultimately where Vegeta, at the end of the day they're both kind of right. Where Goku does break through Vegeta's exterior a little bit in Vegeta's dying moments.
Well, this basically Goku is not a mindless killing machine.
Yeah,
it's like he has morals. Like he wants to fight and obviously win, but he doesn't want to kill.
But I love that Vegeta it's the mercy that Goku shows is why Vegeta's alive right now, but his Saiyan pride just blinds him to that fact and that gratitude,
And that's the reason, if you think about it, he actually did, well, also if you look at it, technically they did him a favor by sparing his life.
Yeah, that's what I just said.
I know what I'm saying is because it leads him to becoming stronger, which will lead him to becoming a Super Saiyan.
Of course, the greater parallels here, it's very much kind of Goku and Piccolo's arc to kind of Goku and Vegeta's arc in the beginnings here.
Yeah.
So Goku versus Captain Ginyu, we have the hilarious pose gag where Goku's kind of trying to mirror. No, move your arm that way. Like I don't get this pose thing's just silly. Like what?
He's like your left. No, your other. No, your right arm. Your other arm.
It's hilarious. Again, little bits of gag manga.
And especially like the part where Ginyu was trying to, after like the hearing about the deaths of the other members, he was training the others.
Yeah, I was trying to.
It's like important thing. The next most important thing, posing.
God.
It's like that's the most important. That's like one of the core tenets of being a member of the Ginyu Force.
That's true.
Is good poses.
So you hear something funny?
Well, one funny thing is like how as the more of them die, the more awkward they find the poses to be.
Yeah, because again, it's just less and less. It just
it's like it's not the same.
That's just Ginyu and Jace doing the poses. Like it's not the same.
Yep, but as you were gonna say.
So I've been playing through Kakarot as we're binging through things.
Yeah, no, they do go to the Frieza, the Namek saga, right?
Yeah, they do that. It's more of the Kai approach, mind you. It's not as sweeping, but I did play. I played the Bardock, the Father of Goku DLC.
All right.
Which is great, and I love all the DLC I got in like the one pack that I bought, which basically gave me the 23rd World Martial Arts Tournament. The whole reason I got the game. Gets you Bardock, the Father of Goku, and gives you the tournament at the end of the Buu Saga. Anyway, but again, so I played the Bardock thing before I went into the Frieza Saga, just because it relates to the story. It's kind of a precursor to it, and it features Frieza and everything. So I played through it, and it's great. And the one little side quest you have is basically you're called to audition for the Ginyu Force, like Bardock and his buddies. They basically, and the big deal breaker was like they refuse to do the Ginyu poses. Like after all this fighting, and they have to go do battle with each member of the Ginyu Force. Okay, so to make the team, you gotta let's say some poses, and it's like poses. We're not doing that.
And then that's basically like one of the make or break questions of a job interview. Like, can you pose? No. Okay, you're not. You don't get the job.
Exactly. So it was fun.
Yep.
Yeah. By the way, you remember who does the voice of Bardock?
No.
Surprising.
Who is it?
Sonny Strait, Krillin.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and he's a really good job.
Yeah, I can't really tell.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, so let's see. Okay. So we have Goku versus Captain Ginyu. Ultimately, again, this of course Goku's been masking his power level, and as he reveals, everyone gets increasingly freaked out. And Ginyu basically, he shows mercy on Ginyu because he's having a good time fighting him, and he says, "Look, let's just stop being a bad guy."
And basically, Ginyu goes insane.
Pretty much. So he takes the opportunity here to take advantage of Goku's Goku's kindness. He does his big swat, his big change move. He basically hurts him. He impales himself a little bit too. He damages his own body, so he can basically, if he's weaker than his opponent, he can change. He can swap. He can basically Freaky Friday them. So I love the funny visual, by the way, of like when we have Goku in Ginyu's body, and he's like kind of having like that. I think Gohan, or I forget. I think Gohan had the thought balloon later on. This is a very Toriyama joke, and I think there's actually a reference to they had some manga covers, or like kind of chapter covers of this, where it was basically like, so it's Captain Ginyu in Goku's outfit doing stuff on Earth, like he's striking the iconic poses with Gohan.
And he's eating dinner with him and with Gohan and Chi-Chi.
Yeah, which is hysterical. That's like those are Toriyama images. They basically found a way of putting into the
with Goku in Ginyu's body.
Yeah. So Ginyu and Goku's body is quite terrifying. Seeing Goku with that scouter and just trying to pull a fast one on Krillin.
Yeah, and Krillin, and Gohan figures it out by looking into his eyes, like, that's not Daddy.
Yeah.
Go Gohan.
Yeah. So I love the lesson here. The lesson of you think, oh God, Ginyu's going to be unstoppable now. Actually, no. It's the lesson of even a powerful body means nothing without the knowledge of how to use it.
Yeah, and the more he uses his body, and without using his mind to go with it, the more power he loses as time goes on.
Which again, kind of is a point to the nature nurture thing with Vegeta and Goku, where again, Vegeta, again, his logic would be, again, naturally this body you would have all the abilities and everything. Goku is like, no, it's about the training that it's the training within any body that will give you that strength.
Yep.
So yep.
So yeah, that is a good point.
Yeah.
And basically out of this, as the result of this, you do get to see Krillin and Gohan beat up Goku.
Yeah, but also Vegeta, he relishes beating the tar out of Goku.
Yep. He knows it's Ginyu, but he's still beating up Goku's body.
Yep. Or Gohan can't do it. He can't bring himself to do it, really.
Yeah, but you do get to see them beating up Goku. Yep. Technically.
So Goku ultimately saves Vegeta because now Goku's body's been damaged. So it's like, well, now he's about to change into Vegeta's body. But Goku, last minute, is he tosses
the poor frog.
Tosses the frog there.
Poor frog.
Yep.
The frog didn't deserve that.
Yeah. It's funny. The Ginyu frog is still really funny. I hate the whole swapping bodies with Bulma thing, but the Ginyu frog, from that, just the running gag that the Ginyu frog is still funny. That Ginyu's he's like the king of the frogs.
Yep. And he found his place on Earth.
Yeah, which that was nice.
Yep.
See, here's what I hate about the Bulma. I completely forgot about this. I thought he could just do the pose silently, but no. Bulma was dumb enough that she built the translator for the frog.
Yeah.
So he could say change.
And then it's never brought up again.
Yeah.
Fortunately, they switch back.
Yes. So, again, Vegeta kind of owes Goku a debt of gratitude here. Plus, he's going to need him for the Frieza battle. So, he takes him to Frieza's ship, puts him in the sand back to tank. Sean Schimmel always had a hilarious story about this.
Yeah.
So remember, this was Sean Schimmel at the start of things, where he was like, still he's a young, starving kind of actor with the Funimation company. He's he's an actor. He's trying to basically when Goku speaks, that means he's eating more than ramen.
Basically, and
so
yeah, go on.
And so basically, Sean Schimmel always told this story where basically it was like, oh man, when's Goku going to get out of get out of the tank? Because when he's in the tank, he doesn't really have a lot to do.
Yep. So basically, his first time voicing Goku was during, but he's recovering in the tank.
That's the thing. It's like, okay, Goku shows up for at least a part of that Ginyu fight. Basically, when Goku's fighting Ginyu, that's when Sean Schimmel enters the picture, and then back to tank.
Oh God.
And it's just for all that time until the Frieza of it all, and that's yeah.
I mean, what a time to start.
Yep.
It's like, and a lot of the time it's just like, I can't. Hopefully, I get out here soon.
Exactly. That's all he says. It's
I think, oh, now Vegeta's here. Oh, now Piccolo's here. It's like, I better get out here soon.
so
Oh
it's
no,
probably
Gohan.
not a long record session, as you can probably guess.
Yep. I was like, hopefully I need to get out of here soon. Basically, that's like the longest hour.
Yeah.
Because basically even Vegeta says he should be in there for like an hour.
Yeah.
And it goes on for feels like a lot longer than an hour.
Well, yeah.
Well, then again, this is the series where you say like Namek will explode in 5 minutes.
I know the 5 minutes. Thank God.
I mean, it's kind of implied that it still is 5 minutes. But
Well, remember, time does work differently on Namek, though.
Yeah, and the fact that they're moving so fast.
Yeah, like a year is like 180 days.
He said that would still mean 5 minutes would probably be less than 5 minutes.
Well, then forget what I said.
You get what I'm saying, though, right?
No, I get what you're saying, though. Yeah.
I think it's more like they're moving so fast that 5 minutes, even if it was 5 minutes in real time, it feels a lot longer because we're watching a slowed down version of their fight.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yep.
But yeah, like a lot of Goku at that point is just like, I hope I get out of here soon.
Mm-hmm.
I need to recover fast.
Exactly.
But by this point, they've gathered all the Dragon Balls and Frieza's on his way.
Yeah, so they've gathered all the Dragon Balls. Goku's he's healing the back to tank. Vegeta is taking a nap, and the boys are in the new Saiyan armor, which this was always cute, putting them on the Saiyan armor.
It's like it's like where you could shove it over your head. It stretches. Remember, I wore it when I turned into an ape.
Which is an excellent point. Like, yeah.
And then he's like, and then what does he say that caused Vegeta to go like, shut up? he says something, and then he's like, I wish I remembered the exact joke. But he says something that causes like,
the boot. Do the boots stretch? And the boots and gloves stretch? Oh, shut up.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
He's like, shut up. Like he doesn't have the answer, he just doesn't want to deal with it.
Yeah. Also, there was so with all the dubs, there was this one line.
Yeah.
There's one line like when they were putting Goku in the back to thing. After also we had like the funny gag. Oh, needles! I'm not gonna give you a needle, you idiot.
Yeah.
That's not the line. I was just saying that kind of happens, but then basically when they're putting him in there, this is like, oh yeah, so he's being submerged in the synthetic Saiyan cells, and they say Krillin I think says like, oh that's Mondo cool, and then we have the
yes Mondo cool.
Yes, Mondo cool. So again, Chris Sabat has done a lot of versions of that line, and sometimes better than others.
I mean, it seems like that line was definitely recorded in the 90s.
Yes, I'd say I think your version, maybe the Orange Brick, I don't know, but whatever re-recorded version, like the later Chris Sabat thing, I think is when it's kind of said with the fandom and like, yes, Mondo cool.
I mean, mine does actually say yes, Mondo cool.
Yes, yours is probably the actual cool version. I think I had like the very 90s. Like, actually, no, you know what? Mine was fine, but I think there was like some version out there that's like, yes, Mondo cool. I don't know if it's Kai or not, but it's like some versions like the very.
I don't know exactly which one mine was, or I'm not, and obviously I can't replicate it, and I didn't record, so I don't know how to show it to you. But
anyway.
Either way, he does say, yes, Mondo cool. You can definitely tell that part was at least written in the 90s.
Yeah. All right, so Vegeta decides to take a nap because, he's got to rest and he can't use the healing chamber right now, so because he destroyed the other one.
Yep, because he destroyed the other one that he was being healed in, and it's not as good as this one. It's not as good as the one he destroyed, so it'll take longer for him to recover.
While Vegeta's sleeping, they summon the dragon. I love the detail, by the way, that Vegeta had no idea that like a dragon's supposed to pop out of the balls. He thought you get the balls, you make the wish.
Yeah, but he has no idea. Like, when the sky dark, he's like, "Well, I sleep that long."
So Porunga, the Namekian dragon, the big, buff, intimidating, genie-like dragon, arises.
He's a bit of a sass.
Yeah, very impatient.
The funny thing is, he speaks English perfectly fine, but he can only grant wishes when it's spoken in Namekian,
True.
which is kind of strange.
Oh yeah.
So he's a very particular. It's like, if you're gonna waste your time, just wish for nothing 3 times and let me go.
God.
Like, very impatient, very sassy. Also gets flustered later when Bulma calls him cute.
Which technically he shouldn't be able to understand, but
Yeah.
Okay, anyway, so that's
I still love how he gets flustered when Bulma calls him cute.
Oh yeah.
He's just like,
Well, I mean, I think we'd all get that way. But the Earth Bulma, not this annoying space Bulma. The Earth Bulma said that to us.
Yes. I love how you're treating them as like 2 separate characters.
Well, that's the thing, though. Seriously, you look in the entirety of the show. This is the worst Bulma ever is when she's on Namek.
Yeah, she's whining, and keep in mind it's like over the course of only 6 days.
Yeah.
And yet
She was literally Gohan is like flying her off the imminently destroyed planet Namek, and she's complaining all along the way.
And she's like, how dare? And keep in mind, she's like also berating Krill, and after this point, he's already dead.
Yeah.
But she doesn't know that, but still.
It reflects very poorly on her.
And you think Krillin would have had to like, hey, Krillin's dead, you.
Yeah.
That would have shut her up.
It would have.
It's like, Krillin's dead.
Again?
Yes, again.
Well, kind of for the 3rd time, because we kind of killed him off early, but we revived him. But
Wait, what?
Well, we kind of. I'm saying technically, we almost killed him like a 3rd time because he was impaled. He was pretty dead, and thankfully, Dende saved him. Though.
Yeah, but then he does actually die.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways,
we're getting ahead of ourselves.
Yes. So. We summon the dragon. It's very tense, very time sensitive. We got to make these wishes before Vegeta gets on to him and before Frieza shows up. So we wish Piccolo back, and after Piccolo, I love this whole thing where he says like, no, we got to decide who to revive first, and he says, King Kai, let me talk to him. Gohan, listen to me, revive me first. And of course, the reason being, Piccolo comes back, the Dragon Balls come back, so everyone can be revived on Earth, which is very important.
Except Chiaotzu.
Well, we'll get there.
Yep.
I really still wish they thought about that point, though. But anyway, so then it's like, okay, well, have him bring me to Namek.
Yeah, but so that's 2 wishes down. But
and they realize, well, wait a minute, Piccolo's not. He's on the planet. We didn't say again the very specific. Well, we didn't say where on Namek.
So basically, he really is like a genie.
Exactly, like Norm the genie from Fairly Odd Parents.
Like, you didn't wish for an omelet on a plate.
God.
Yeah. He's like halfway, and ultimately, it is kind of fortunate that he was summoned to the other side of the planet because he does run into Nail.
Yes.
Like, who fuses with him.
So this is a big moment, though. Piccolo, again, with his whole identity as a character is that he is a defused Namekian, so he's kind of fusing with, So here's something interesting we should probably talk about Piccolo. Yeah. So a large degree of the fandom with Dragon Ball, and this is, I don't know how substantiated this is, but at least in my experience and what I've seen, it really seems like, I think the black community loves Piccolo. I think there's like a big connect there with Piccolo, and I'm not saying, I don't know how based on anything it really is. I could be reaching here, but I want to say it's because he's big, burly, cool, and the idea is like historically in Dragon Ball he was the character with like the different skin tone who was cool and they got things done. They had the deep booming voice, and he was basically like, he would be the equivalent of like a Samuel L. Jackson or a Lawrence Fishburne in the Dragon Ball universe. He was like the definition of cool. All right. Piccolo has a fan base. He's awesome. And I don't know. I'm just saying, like I've friends who are they're black and they love anime. And I don't know, Piccolo. It's just kind of a thing I've noticed. It's kind of like the whole like Goofy movie has like plays to the black demographic kind of a thing,
I can kind of see that, I guess.
The reason I bring it up, if I were to operate off just that observation of there seems to be kind of like the African American demographic seems to really love Piccolo. You could read Namek especially given what Frieza's doing, the whole like genocide and all that kind of stuff there we have going on. The idea that we're looking very lowly on the Namekians, we're killing them all. You could make it's very important for Piccolo to go to Namek, because we had like a little bit in the Saiyan saga where he was really, I'm an alien, or he's really kind of taken aback by learning where he comes from. And it's kind of the whole, it's kind of the connection of like you have kind of like the African American experience kind of harkening back to Africa, or like going to Africa kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I think, like, in a sense, it's kind of like if you have like like a black person who like like I don't know, a lot of times sometimes you have like black people who like, I'm thinking a big go-to for me is I'm thinking like the Static in Africa episode where he had Static Shock. He goes, there's an episode where he and his family go to Africa as kind of like a big vacation kind of thing, and it was like getting in touch with their roots and African American history. And it was really cool. And I just kept thinking about that, where it's kind of like Piccolo he's taking in the splendor of Namek and kind of like his people, and he always had these abilities, and he kind of all he could really get about who he was basically living in his father's shadow before thanks to Gohan, everything really set forth his own path. So it's kind of it's a big moment where he's kind of seeing like how beautiful Namek could be and how peaceful it was compared to what he was brought up with Demon King Piccolo Sr. living for revenge and murder and death and all this stuff, which is the antithesis of what Namek's all about.
Oh yeah.
I just think it was kind of, I don't know, it's kind of it's kind of getting in touch with, it's kind of a roots situation. He's getting in touch with his roots, and Nail, I think, is kind of a big component there, and fusing is kind of like, and I think, I forget if Super did this or if it was something they brought up in Daimyo, but I'm not trying to cite Daimyo, but it's like the idea that conceivably the people of Namek, they all descend from one person being asexual. They all descend from Guru.
Yeah.
So it's the idea that technically, I think there's like a throwaway line in when we had Namekians and the Tournament of Power, like in Daimyo, we had like this one Namekian character. The idea, in theory, all the Namekians, at least of a universe, Namekians could all fuse together to be one super being. So the idea of like this whole unity within a single person idea.
I can kind of see where you're coming from.
And they find a guru, and he learns about Kami. He was he would have he sacrificed his power, kind of splitting himself into. So the idea of Piccolo, as he learns from Nail, he would have been so much more powerful if he actually stayed fused with Kami.
That is true.
So again, that comes in handy later, but we'll get there when we get there. But
we'll get there when we get there.
We'll get there when we get there. But I don't know. Am I completely off base with any of them? I mean, what do you think? Is it?
I don't think entirely off base. I mean, maybe. I mean, some of that was probably a bit of a stretch, but
look, I understand it's a stretch. I'm just saying I don't know. It's a head canon, not a fan theory, but it's just it's just kind of an observation.
I see where I can kind of see where some of your points are landing.
Yeah, I mean, Piccolo, he really wanted to be a part of this battle, and we kind of have this later on with the aftermath, where essentially, Piccolo, he hated Frieza for wiping out his people, the people that he didn't really get a chance to meet thanks to Frieza. So again, in a sense, Piccolo is kind of getting, in the grand scheme of things, Piccolo is kind of getting to have more in common with Vegeta, whether he knows it or not. Which is more appropriate given they're both voiced by the same actor.
In English.
Yeah.
I don't think they're voiced by the same in Japan.
No, they're not voiced by the same actor in Japan, but still. It's the idea that, there's kind of a bit of a like Frieza having wiped out, at least for a time, having wiped out his people. It's having done all this damage, and Piccolo wants in on the action. I think mainly to avenge the Namekians, to get to see the planet, and also to help Gohan out, because I think he loves the kid.
Yep, his first real friend.
Yeah, so this is all very. So a point being, Piccolo, with the little time that we have with Piccolo comparatively in this saga, in this arc, we're making the most out of it, and I really appreciate that. We're getting a lot of mileage out of Piccolo in these little subtle moments, like him fusing with Nail, and this being kind of an event that gives him a big power boost, but also is kind of like he inherits the memories too. So this is kind of him, as Lucas Green was bringing up early. Like some say, Piccolo's personality helped change Piccolo during the fuse. So it's kind of like Piccolo gets a lot of insight. He kind of he's connecting to his he's connecting to kind of Namek itself, which is kind of maybe fueling the battle, which is kind of a foreshadow for what's going on with Goku, where Goku has to accept the Saiyan heritage to ascend to the next power level.
Now, do you think Guru unlocked Nail's power?
Probably, yeah.
Do you think he could have done the same thing for Piccolo?
Most likely, yeah. But I mean, then again, Piccolo's thing is like he really could have fully unlocked his power if he fused with Kami, but presumably, yeah, it's probably could have done the same thing.
All right. Well, maybe we'll find out. Who knows?
All right. So, okay, so point being, Piccolo's there. So now Piccolo is in the Goku position. If he's racing to, don't worry, hold on, Gohan, I'm coming.
Yeah, but he's like halfway across the planet.
Yeah, so anyways, they have a third wish, and then Vegeta wakes up. He is pissed off majorly.
Hey, yep, majorly.
I heal your father, I give you new armor, and this is how you repay. And Vegeta kind of has a point.
But then there's like 3 wishes. They have 3 wishes.
Yep, so it's like, oh, good. You know, his attitude changes. Like, wish me immortal. He's like threatening. Like, yeah, Dende does not want this guy to be immortal, understandably.
Yep.
It's a lot of hemming and hawing, and really they should have wished Frieza away, but it was a question of if this would have been in the Namekian Dragon's power or not.
Yeah. Yeah, because as we see later, the person is apparently able to refuse being brought back.
Yeah.
As we find out later, so maybe Frieza could just like, I'm going to send you away. Nope. Okay.
Exactly.
It can't be done.
Seems like it.
Yep.
So Frieza, the point being.
So it's at this point, before he's about to grant the wish, Guru dies.
Yeah. Guru dies. I love that Frieza. Here's the thing. I always assumed, because I saw the Stone Dragon Balls thing. I remember that shot from the manga. I always assumed that Frieza showed up and killed the dragon, but then I realized that wouldn't make any sense at all, and it makes more sense. Yeah, Guru dies, and that would be the ticking clock at play.
It was actually, we actually did get someone to kill the dragon.
Yeah, Demon King Piccolo Sr.
Yep. Yeah, but Frieza wouldn't kill the dragon before he wished for immortality.
Yeah.
So,
like I said, there's a lot of stalling. So Piccolo's racing to the...
You think I'm stalling?
Yeah, so Piccolo racing to the battle, Goku healing, a lot of stalling.
You think he's stalling?
Yep.
All right, I'm not going to do that anymore.
All right, so Frieza, amidst this stalling, before Goku wakes up for the action, we have, basically we got to get Frieza to his most powerful form, and the way we do this is, I like that we do in kind of like a tiered system. So we get Frieza versus Vegeta, which basically demonstrates the transformations. So which by the way, it's a first for Dragon Ball, the first time we have a major transformation.
Yep, and Frieza... And basically, Vegeta's no match for Frieza, even in his base form.
A transformation that's not a grade 8, by the way. So that's we set that way up in Dragon Ball. So the first time, really, in Dragon Ball Z, we had an original transformation.
Yeah, but it's like he's basically the same. Almost looks pretty much the same, except bigger horns, more muscles, that kind of thing.
So I love this detail, by the way. I completely forgot about this. So the idea is that Frieza's transformations were safeguards to dampen his full power. So it's not like he's getting... It's basically each transformation is basically just it's just dampening his power. It's not like he's like powering up. He's basically like getting rid of like the walls.
Basically removing his limiters.
Yeah, which is really cool. I completely forgot about that until I rewatch here. So Vegeta is basically Vegeta going up against base form Frieza. He's pretty evenly matched with him. He's doing pretty well. Vegeta's getting cocky, and then we get to Form 2.
Yeah, and it's at that point where it's just like, oh crap.
So he's taller, he's buffer, he's got giant horns. I had the action figure of Form 2 Frieza.
And we're getting a bit more monstrous features.
Yep, and speaking of his monstrous features, he uses them to impale Krillin.
Which surprisingly doesn't kill him.
Which, it was about to.
Yeah, but... It goes on for quite a while, too.
I completely forgot how gruesome was the whole... He basically pulls like a Freddy Krueger. Like, ride him, cowboy.
Yeah, it's like Linda Young was clearly having a lot of fun with that.
Yeah, it was so cruel and just poor Krillin, so bloody too. Just poor Krillin. And then again, I thought he was a goner. It was shocking. And then thankfully, Dende, when Guru gave him a power up, he can now heal people. So he healed Krillin.
Him and as I mentioned,
But remember, Gohan thought he was dead. He kicked the tar out of Frieza for a bit.
yep.
Yeah.
So basically, that's when Vegeta was like this. Was again thinking like this kid could even be a Super Saiyan.
Yep. Okay, we have Lucas Green in the comments saying the second form of Frieza. I mean, you'll see this. The second form of Frieza, you could argue it's based on his father in design, who we might be seeing soon. Power level wise, he's that. It's basically Frieza on steroids, and yeah. So his Frieza's father does look pretty identical to that. That's a really good. That's a really Lucas Green. I never connected those dots, and I think it's a really great observation.
His father's King Cold, right?
Yeah, so King Cold looks exactly like that now I think about it. It's like, yep, that's great.
And at least in terms of the anime, like the anime movies, Cooler is his brother.
Yeah.
Because I know he's not. Because if I understand, King Cold is technically canon.
Yeah, no, he is. So King Cold is canon. The Cooler is, well, jury's out on Cooler.
Oh, he's like exclusive to the movies, though.
Yeah.
And one of the few villains to get more than one movie.
That is true.
I think the only one besides Broly to get more than one movie.
Yeah. I like the simplicity of the first Cooler movie. The second one does have a kind of a big cool factor. It has like some of the great Vegeta lines.
Yep.
All right.
Like, I remember when I showed you the I think it was exactly that one when I showed you like the bad
Yeah,
like,
you did.
the Malaysian dub.
Yeah. Okay, we're not going to talk about the Malaysian dub here. It was terrible.
But it's like I said, it's like so bad it's funny.
Yeah.
It's like nobody touches Kakarot, not even you. Which is that's supposed to be Vegeta, by the way.
Yeah.
Chris Sabat, he is not.
Yeah. So Piccolo arrives finally, and he gets to kick the crap out of very cathartically, again representing Namek itself, just being done with Frieza. He kicks the crap out of Frieza's second form.
Frigus. Sorry.
So then we get to that prompts Frieza to go into form number 3, which basically is a nod to Alien. It's like a xenomorph head.
Yeah, I think Alien is pretty popular in Japan.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can definitely tell like when his head like started backwards. It's like, okay, that's just a xenomorph.
Pretty much, it's like the ugly Frieza. It's the ugliest Frieza design.
Yep.
So then, during this, Vegeta gets his big power up plan where he basically tells Krillin, beat me to near death.
To basically have Dende revive him.
Which again, Dende almost didn't do it.
And he's like, "Listen here, you little." Basically, like, if I don't do it, it's like this is our best chance of defeating Frieza.
Yep. So Vegeta gets healed, and then it gives us the power up. So they take on the third form, which then brings us to the final form,
and
basically the iconic form.
And it's actually smaller.
Yep. Again, the evil of the evil of short people.
Yep, it's smaller, more compact.
Uh-huh.
But it's literally the most powerful Frieza is. And he's still using barely any of his power.
So between forms 3 and the final form here, before Goku shows up, it's an elongated beam battle, like they're throwing energy blasts at each other. It goes on for a long time.
They're flying, trading blows in the air.
Yeah, point being, they're outmatched. This Frieza in his final form brutally kicks the crap out of Vegeta. And here's the thing. I remember my Dragon Ball action figures from DBZ, and I have I always loved Vegeta's, and I loved it only because I had the action figure, mind you. I mean, it's still pretty cool, but so I have a lot of nostalgia for Vegeta's Saiyan armor without the the one that he wears when he's fighting Frieza, like the one he got when he changed out of the damaged armor. It has like the sleeveless vest armor.
Without the shoulder pads.
Yeah, without the shoulder pads. I always thought it was a cool look for him, essentially. And the idea is if you really look throughout the series with Vegeta, he loses more and more armor as he goes on. So starting with the Saiyan armor, then he's lost the tail, then to this, then he kind of gets to basically the cooler version of this with like the Cell Saga. Then then he's just completely he's lost the armor entirely. He's just wearing the boots. Well, boots and I forget if he has maybe the boots and the gloves, but yeah.
Well, what do you say? They're a fashion statement.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. I like that he's just he's kind of shed the armor as he's kind of become more earthbound.
Yep.
All right, anyway, but yeah, so like Frieza's like, damn, I always have like the battle damage Vegeta body armor toy from. Is like they sold a lot of the Dragon Ball figures in like 2-packs. It was like you get like a Frieza and you get that or something.
Yeah, and Vegeta, like throughout this entire thing, we've noticed that Vegeta like held off fighting Frieza as long as possible.
Yeah, Jay, throw the power levels up on screen, would you?
It's like third form Frieza power level 2,120,000.
Mm-hmm.
Final form Frieza surpassed 3,200,000.
Yep.
50% final form Frieza 60 million.
Yep. All right. So yeah, so Vegeta, he's not doing well. He's basically turned into a punching bag, and then Goku wakes up finally.
It's like basically we see that throughout this entirety, Vegeta is absolutely terrified of Frieza.
Oh yeah.
And throughout this, we really find out why.
Mm-hmm.
But as you said, Goku finally wakes up after the longest hour ever. Basically.
Yep, and then we have the 19 episode the 19 episode battle, which is ridiculous.
Yep. And the thing is, Kai didn't really trim out that much of it. Like the only
Still,
thing
though, an argument for why we need a Kai in the first place. If we're gonna have a battle this big, we gotta trim out everything else.
Pretty much, yeah.
So let's see. So Vegeta. So basically, Frieza. Vegeta's like seeing this, and he's he's kind of gloating at. Oh yeah, you're in for it now. This he could be a Super Saiyan, and Vegeta gets killed by Frieza. And I always I completely forgot that Vegeta. I knew he was hit. I didn't know he died. But I was completely shocked that, oh my god, Vegeta's like full on killed by Frieza there.
Yep, he straight up dies.
But again, in his dying moments, him pleading again, showing like some remorse and some vulnerability to Goku in his last moments for him to like he knows Goku doesn't buy into the to the Saiyan struggle, like the Saiyan pride, but he implores him to, avenge our planet. Like, he killed my father. He took me away from my father and killed him and all of everyone.
Basically, this is the first time we see Vegeta crying.
Oh yeah. That's something, for that guy to do that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Basically, that's like we're peeling back the layers of Vegeta.
And again, in contrast to Vegeta, and again, I love that Frieza is initially very intrigued by Goku before he gets really ticked off by just how much of a fighting savant he is.
And basically throughout this entirety, Frieza's basically saying like, I shouldn't have toyed with him. I should have killed him when I had the chance.
Yep.
Pretty much, like instead of playing with him.
Yeah, Frieza offers him a job at one point.
Yeah, in which but Goku rightly was like, look what you did with Vegeta. Doesn't sound like very good job security.
Which is also, again, this to me felt like a rehashed kind of like we have in the Saiyan saga too, with the whole thing of like I have an opening Kakarot. I've seen it in my predecessor. I'm not interested.
Yeah, he has a good point.
So Frieza brings up Bardock. He says, "You look just like." His Bardock was like the one Saiyan that actually stood up to Frieza right before the end, and I love that. Again, it's so interesting where the whole point of Bardock the Father of Goku is that he gets the psychic ability. So throughout, it was like a really random thing. I was always split on, but I think over the years and based on especially replaying through the Kakarot game, it was like, you know what? Actually, I think it kind of worked towards the idea that Bardock will never meet his son, but by the way, I love the Bardock figure. It was like the coolest, like seeing like kind of basically Goku in the Saiyan armor, but it was his dad. It was awesome.
Yep.
So Bardock I always loved Bardock for the fact that it was like on Toonami. It was like a big event. Bardock, the father of Goku, and the future the future Trunks. Like those two specials always played, and it was like a big event thing on Toonami. the idea that Bardock in his last moments he got that vision of like Goku defeat of this fight right now, of Goku defeating Frieza and everything. It's the idea that he even though he's never going to meet his son, the whole point of that thing was like every opportunity he had to actually see his son, he only had like this passing stars, and he flew past his son in the pod, and that was the closest thing he had to seeing him. But through the psychic vision, he saw what his son would become, and he just took solace in the fact that Frieza is doomed. So he basically, it's really heady and full circle where the person that gave him the psychic ability is basically saying the Saiyan race is doomed. So now it's like Frieza, you're doomed, and so he's kind of like becoming what it's the cycle going on.
Frieza created his own demise.
Yes, and the fact that despite all this, Frieza's trying to play mind games with Goku. Goku doesn't care about his Saiyan legs. I think that intrigues Frieza. Like, he doesn't care. He just, he told him I killed his father. He didn't bat an eye.
It's like he didn't know his father.
Yeah, his father was Gohan.
Yep, and so is his son.
Yeah,
it's a different Gohan, but still.
Yeah. All right, so
well, he calls him Grandpa Gohan, but nonetheless.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So let's see. So point being, we have the big battle. It goes on way too long. Filler within the battle, and this was them stretching for time and also mirroring the manga, and just it just went on a long time.
The battle is pretty epic, though.
Look, it's epic, but the problem is because it goes on for so long, it really loses its luster after a while in places where it's like, oh man, like can we? I gotta be honest. I kind of think the first half. I don't know. It's like parts. Part of me wants to say the first half is more engaging than the second half, but by the same token, though, it's like we want to see Goku not on his heels, but then again, when he is on his heels, he's biting Frieza's tail, and that's kind of cool.
Yep.
I love seeing him bite Frieza's tail. By the same token, it's like, okay, so Goku thinking about all the people on Earth that Frieza's going to kill next. It's like, it's good, but it's like in the middle of the battle, Goku. Maybe not now.
Yep. Again, the first person he thinks of when the Earth is getting destroyed is Chi-Chi.
Like, this is stuff we should have moved to the Bacta tank.
Yep. I know it's not actually called the Bacta tank, but I love how we're just calling it the Bacta tank.
Yeah, the Saiyan Bacta tank,
Yeah.
Anyway, so point being, during the so Goku before he has a big transformation, it's a pretty even battle, but Frieza's only fighting at 1% power.
Oh yeah.
At least that's what he says. So this leads Goku to pull out the Spirit Bomb, a bigger, more massive Spirit Bomb than he used on Vegeta. But unfortunately, and I love we had addressed the big design flaw in the Spirit Bomb, you have to hold yourself in a very open position.
And also, there's not that much life left on Namek.
Yeah.
So he actually draws life from the other planets in the solar system.
Yeah.
And speaking of which, Lucas Green does make another good point. If Frieza had gone his match, we would have won instantly.
That's true. Again, the ego. Again, it's Vegeta's hubris times 10. That's essentially what Frieza's got going on. Right? I don't have to train. I underestimate everybody.
That's pretty much almost, if I understand, that's almost all of the Dragon Ball Z villains' main problem is their ego. Majority of them, anyway.
Pretty much.
I mean, at least Vegeta, Frieza, and I'm guessing Garlic Jr.
Well,
I mean, from what I gathered when I just watched Dead Zone.
All right.
And probably, and I think Cell too.
Pretty much.
Bobbity and Boo, I have no idea.
Boo's a little more tricky.
Yeah, but
Boo's
Frieza,
less ego. It's a whole thing with Boo.
But Frieza and Vegeta definitely ego.
Yeah. Anyway, so Piccolo lends an assist to Goku. He buys him some time so we can create this giant Spirit Bomb that seemingly takes out Frieza. And I love how we even have like the thing where they're all celebrating. Oh man, thank God, we beat him, and like it's a nice moment. And then Frieza.
They do that like 5 times in this fight.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, oh yeah, Frieza dead. Oh no, Goku's dead. Oh wait, Goku's back. Frieza's dead. Frieza's dead. Oh wait, Frieza's back.
Yep. That gets old fast.
Yep. Does that
This
happen?
first time they did it, though, was really good, though. It was the first time, oh, God, so the Spirit Bomb is taking out Frieza as we, the audience, would expect it to. But
nope.
in the grand scheme, you have to question the effectiveness of the Spirit Bombs. Use it on Vegeta, still kicking. Use it on Frieza, still kicking.
Even with the Kaioken.
Yep.
Times 10.
Mm-hmm.
I did like the reveal that like he has been using the Kaioken this whole time.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that basically showing like, oh boy, Frieza really is that powerful.
Yep.
But yeah, the Spirit Bomb, I'm guessing, if I remember correctly, does get its redemption later on.
It does. There's we remind ourselves of why the Spirit Bomb's cool later on.
Yeah, but not with these first two.
No, these first. Well, again, yeah, it's kind of like he's ironing out the kinks. This was a bigger Spirit Bomb, but still, Frieza was more powerful though.
Yeah.
So, again, so Piccolo just gets a shot out of nowhere from Frieza, who's emerged. So he takes down Piccolo. He's not dead, but he's wounded.
We know he's not dead because Kami's still alive.
Yeah, and then Krillin.
He blows up Krillin.
I love this was Goku's worried about, especially if Krillin dies. He knows Krillin dies. He can't come back with the dragon, at least as far as he knows.
Yep, especially, but he doesn't know that the Namekian Dragon Balls can bring him back.
Oh yeah, he doesn't know that yet. Yeah, so.
But yeah, like this.
The shocking death of Krillin. He blows him up, and it's very sad.
Like Goku, help me!
Oh, it's so sad.
Yeah, it just
Pop goes the weasel.
Oh god. But here's the thing, like it just really does just happen like that, just like out of nowhere. Kind of like how he just found him dead when Piccolo killed him.
Yeah, and again, Goku is just he's angry. Again, we rarely do we see Goku truly angry and truly upset. And this is like one of those times where, oh boy, stand back, kids. He gets so mad he ascends the power level. He becomes a Super Saiyan.
Yep, one of the most legendary moments in media history, really.
Oh yeah.
I mean, not just in like anime or anything like that, in like media history.
Yep.
Goku's like. We see teases of it where he's like, and his hair like flashes blonde.
Yeah.
But then he finally screams like, ah!
So it's very appropriate that if you're going to do the Super Saiyan reveal, it would be attached to a very traumatic moment. The death of Krillin. So that's what's going to snap him into that, along with like Vegeta. Vegeta put the idea of the Super Saiyan in his head and kind of got him thinking about his lineage, and then of course Krillin being the real. Again, it's important that Krillin is the connect, though. It's the humanity is still like the connecting drive for him.
Yeah, it's like the loss of his like even he even says like, it was Krillin, my best friend.
Yep. So he becomes a Super Saiyan. He's very serious when he's in Super Saiyan form.
You can tell how serious he is because he's like, Gohan, I want you to go back to the ship and head home
Now.
He's like, Krillin, listen to me. Like he actually yells at not yells, but raises his voice.
Well, not Krillin, because Krillin is dead.
Oh yeah, Gohan.
Yeah, Gohan, listen to me. He's yelling at Gohan to get Piccolo and everyone and Bulma and get everyone off the planet.
Which he has a good reason to.
Yeah.
Because finally Goku understands the severity of the situation.
Yeah, so basically their fight is like tearing the planet apart.
Yeah, and he's like, take Piccolo and go home now.
Yep.
And he's basically saying like, dang it, Gohan, listen to me.
Yep. So Gohan reluctantly does it. Later on, he lends him a brief assist, but then he goes back to
It's like he's reminding Goku, like, I am your father, Gohan.
Yep.
Which is we rarely see like strict dad Goku, which is
well, yeah.
But this time it's like definitely warranted.
Yep.
And let's just say like it is kind of awesome to see just him just like giving that death glare to Frieza after turning, like the.
Yeah, so Frieza, rather than lose, opts to destroy the planet, which then creates this extended ticking clock of 5 minutes, which is more like maybe 50 minutes.
And it goes on for like 10 episodes after that point.
Yeah. Meanwhile, again, with urgency within they shouldn't have said 5 minutes because Popo, Mr. Popo, has found the Dragon Balls on Earth.
And not to mention, immediately after we see Goku turn Super Saiyan in the episode, we cut to Bulma and the frog.
Yeah.
So it kind of undercuts the moment.
Yeah. Okay, so Mr. Popo, he used the Dragon Balls to revive all of Frieza's victims, which thankfully would include Guru by proxy, and that brings back the Namekian Dragon.
Because he died of a broken heart.
Yes.
Which is kind of a Deus Ex Machina, but
but still, I mean, again, like I'm saying, Jake, if you look at like the unity of the Namekians, I mean, again, if he's all linked to the Namekians, it's kind of,
I mean, it makes sense. I'm just saying.
Yeah. So they have one wish left, and so Dende, wishes basically for everyone but Goku and Frieza, because per Goku's wishes, like, hey, look, I'm going to finish this fight to the end. King Kai's saying, Goku, you're nuts.
Basically, he just wants to make sure that Frieza never terrorizes anyone again.
Yeah, but also there's a little bit of that Saiyan kind of pride, and in terms of like, it's the fighter in Goku. He wants to finish out this fight.
Yep. But Frieza actually makes his wish first.
Yeah, but he didn't. If only he spoke the language.
Yep.
And this is a great comeuppance for Frieza, because Frieza killed all the Namekians so heartlessly and then terribly. He never bothered to learn anything about them. He never bothered to leave any of them alive. So that's why.
Yep. So it's ultimately his own undoing.
In many ways, Frieza's so many things. He could have killed Goku like right off the start at full power if he didn't underestimate him. So many mistakes Frieza made, all because of ego and just again resting on his laurels.
And the thing is, he still remains a compelling villain throughout the entirety of this fight.
Yes. So anyway, so everyone is. One second. Yes, all of Frieza's victims are the Earth Dragon revives all of Frieza's victims, and we have the Namekian Dragon, which basically teleports everyone. We have Vegeta, and there's a very key moment. Vegeta gets to see with his own eyes Super Saiyan Goku, so he knows it is achievable, it is possible.
And then he tries to attack Frieza before he himself is transported to Earth.
Yep. So I love that moment with Frieza and the Dragon too, where again he's realized, oh my God, that was the dragon, my Woshka, all that, and just he should have spoken the magic word.
He didn't say the magic word.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
All right. So Frieza now goes to max power, and
the funny thing, well, speaking of which, there actually is a fun connection there. That at the convention I'm going to in December, both Christopher Sabat and Wayne Knight will be there.
Yep.
So there is that reference makes sense here.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
All right. So Goku.
I'm just saying.
I know. Yeah. Yes, I know. You're just saying, Jacob. Yeah.
I don't have the symbol in this. Gong will have to do.
Anyway. At max power, and Goku, the two of them are fighting each other, going at it again. This is what I'm talking about. It's a great fight, but if we extend it, it loses its power. It becomes, if we extend the fight, it becomes like the, Revenge of the Jedi fighting on Mustafar.
Revenge of the Sith.
I said Revenge of the Jedi, didn't I?
Yes.
Correct.
Which to be fair was the original name.
I know. That's why I was thinking Revenge of the Sith. It's like Revenge of the Sith with the battle on Mustafar.
Yep. Which need to remind you, the script direction was literally they fight.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. And again, it's like on a volcanic planet. It's an epic backdrop.
Yep. So they're fighting.
Yeah, go on.
So they're fighting, and so the planet is kind of getting destroyed around them. It's a heck of a fight again. Just if only it was condensed a little, it would have really had all of its punch to it.
And again, Kai kind of did cut down on it.
Yeah, which is what they should have done. So it makes me think Kai is probably the better way to watch this saga specifically. So
And again, it's still a really long fight. I think like 14 to 15 episodes for the Goku versus Frieza fight.
At least lost a couple episodes.
Yeah, but to be fair, it's still closer in length to the original manga.
Yeah.
Because the fight in the manga is extremely long too.
Yeah. 22 chapters. Yeah.
Yeah, 20 to 22. I don't know the exact number.
Okay, it's a lot of chapters.
Yes.
So, anyways, amidst the fight, Goku kind of at a certain point, he's just a little disappointed by Frieza, who's just kind of basically Goku kind of ends the fight because he's just a little disappointed in him.
Because Frieza's like losing energy as he goes on.
Yep, there's no reason to continue in this fight, and he wants to leave. And Frieza gets really incensed, and this is the greatest insult. He steals Krillin's technique. He uses the Destructo Disc.
but in this case he uses 2.
Yes, he kind of boomerangs back and ends up cutting
himself.
Cutting Frieza in 2. So this is what Lucas Green says here. Frieza has lost to a fighter who's superior to him, and to make it worse, he's just a monkey.
Yes.
Not a monkey.
It's like, he's just a monkey, isn't he? It's like because the entire time, like, Frieza's like saying, like, you're just a monkey. You can't be better than me.
Yep.
Again, props to Linda Young for her deliveries on these lines.
Of course, yes, Frieza is responsible for his own actions and mistakes, and the results him getting sliced by his own attack. So again, it's his own undoing.
Like he keeps saying, like, you think you can get me to be sliced by my own attack? But then Goku brings it around town.
Mm-hmm.
Bringing it around town. And then he in his rage, if Frieza just hadn't jumped, he would have been perfectly fine.
That's true.
But he basically gets bisected, and he loses his lower half and one of his arms.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I want to get this in here somewhere, because we mentioned Linda Young. Because of Frieza's design, the lips and Linda Young's voice, as a kid, I always thought Frieza was a girl.
I can kind of see where you're coming from.
Especially when Frieza's in the chair at the very beginning. I always assumed Frieza was female.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of have to pay attention and listen to, like, when the fact they refer to Frieza as a he.
Yeah, that's the thing. As a kid and everything. But basically, the idea is like Frieza's very androgynous. But
yeah,
very kind of Lord Fauntleroy kind of fancy prince kind of thing.
Yeah, then that kind of lessens when they bring Christopher Ayers into it, though.
Lots of them. Then they kind of do like the whole kind of Joker thing with Frieza there. So
Yeah, but again, Linda Young though. Great Frieza.
Absolutely. So, let's see. So, point being the battle,
and I don't know if it was like modified, like they were synthesizing her voice, or she was actually just changing it. But I like how she did how there were different voices for each stage of Frieza.
Yes. So we cut Frieza in 2, and so Frieza is begging for mercy, and Goku again he shows mercy, which has been his kryptonite. Showed yes.
Well, he didn't want to at first, though.
Yeah, you're right. He didn't want to at first.
But he ultimately relents. Like, here, I gave you a little bit of my energy. Do with it what you want.
So reluctantly, I was saying you think about this. Raditz showed mercy. Vegeta showed mercy. Ginyu mercy. Frieza at this point very reluctantly, he showed mercy. He told, look, just get out of here. Just like get off the planet.
And then as he's flying away, Frieza lets off one final beam attack.
with the energy, the pathetic attack with like the energy that Goku just gave him. And we have the big delivery. You
fool! And he just
Silver Godfrey just approves.
You fool!
Yep.
And he just blasts him with like a Kamehameha, or just a random beam attack.
Yeah.
And basically overpowers Frieza until he's basically wiped away.
Yep.
Thereby ending his reign of terror.
Yep, it would seem.
Until Resurrection F.
Yeah.
Actually, probably like I think closer to like the Android Saga. I think.
Well, I want to spell it out, but
I don't know. I'm going based on what I remember from Kai.
I know. I don't want to. Okay. So,
it's the end of Frieza for now.
So again, Goku is in a pinch to get out. We don't really know fully if or at least how he gets out of Dodge. At least not yet. So back on Earth, we revive. Back on Earth, we revive Krillin.
And all the people that were killed by Frieza.
Yep. Well, no, we did that already earlier. So everyone was revived, and everyone was revived, and they're on Earth, and basically 180 days go by. So the Namekian calendar year, just it's 180 days.
But a sad thing is, you're skipping a bit. Like the sad thing is, the ones killed by Vegeta don't come back.
Yeah.
And also Guru dies, passing it on to Mori, one of the other Namekians.
Yes.
Who in the 180 days becomes a pretty good golfer.
Yeah. It was a beautiful little sad moment. I love the way Chris Sabat played Guru.
Was that good? Was that Sabat?
At least the one I watched. The original Funimation one was Chris Sabat, and he did a really wonderful job. I think they recast him in one of the other Funimation dubs, but I think the original one was Chris Sabat.
All right.
Anyway. So they...
in the original one, it was Sabat. I think in Kai, it says it's Bill Jenkins.
Yeah, that's... Yes.
All right.
Anyway. So, basically, the solution was, I think Vegeta even proposed a solution. Again, with the fillers, I hated this whole thing where Gohan and Vegeta had a bit of a fight. And it was a fight that really makes no sense, like why they would really, like Vegeta saying, "I'm going to lord over this place thanks to Kakarot, killing himself with Frieza, ha ha ha," and it's like into a little bit of a fight, which just lessens the later bit where Vegeta and like Gohan's like extending his hand, like, "Hey, everything's cool now," and just like slapped his hand away.
Was the fight a filler fight, or was that actually part of the manga?
Filler fight.
So it wasn't even manga.
No.
Dang it.
Yeah.
So it really doesn't make sense.
I'm pretty sure it's not in the manga.
Well, either way, Bulma's there, kind of like says, "Hey, you're cute," and then sees him fighting Vegeta. Fighting Krillin.
Gohan.
Yes, I know. There's a lot of names here.
Yes.
I sees him fighting Gohan, and it's like, I'm gonna marry that man later.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's just a few things we could have. Honestly, in the aftermath, there's that, and then we have the whole like flashback to like that doesn't make any sense of the backstory that we got. So that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, so we do see some sparks with Vegeta and Bulma. There's like, hey, we're all friends now. You don't have to, plus you're kind of cute.
It's like,
So all the Namekians stay with Bulma. 180 days go by. Vegeta had the solution of like, hey, we'll just transport, because basically they revive Krillin. He's going to be in space without a planet, which is going to be pointless. So transport his souls to the check-in station,
which is based on Earth.
So they assume Goku as well. So like transport Goku and Krillin's souls to the check-in station, which they can't do with Goku because he's alive.
Based on the episode title named "Goku's Alive."
Yep.
But he's alive and is refusing to be brought back.
Yeah. So Krillin gets revived, and then basically they pick one of the three guys. Now, really, they should have picked Chiaotzu first, really, let's be honest, okay? So technically, if they really wanted to, he could have revived Chiaotzu and then used the Earth Dragon Balls to revive, the other guys, but,
Yeah.
It all worked out, because the Namek, it's like 180 days, so it's less time, so it all worked out.
Yep, true.
Yep. Anyway, so, yes, our point being, all of our Z fighters, they're back to life. Goku, he's in space, and Master Roshi makes the joke. He didn't want to come back because of what he's really afraid of.
Chi-Chi.
Yep.
And then basically, when Chi-Chi like berates him and yells at him, it's basically proving his point.
Yep.
That's always like kind of the joke. It's like they say like, "You don't dare you say that," and by the way, proving their point when they say that.
Exactly.
And the most powerful being in the universe, everyone.
Yep. So, so again, everyone's a tearful goodbye from Dende and his pals. They all go to go back to Namek with the last wish of the Dragon Balls.
Or go back to a planet, I guess. Yeah.
Well, the new Namek. This new Namek. Here's the thing. It's always weird to me they didn't use one of the wishes to bring the planet back. But the point being, they go to new Namek.
Yep.
And then we have this this beautiful little moment where Piccolo is like from in a distance saying, "I'll always have your back, Gohan." It was a really beautiful little moment.
Yep.
Yep.
It is nice.
Yeah.
They've really gotten close.
Yep.
So that pretty much ends the Frieza saga.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that was a long one.
Oh yeah.
Funnily enough, the stream's still not as long as our talk with the Saiyan saga though.
Well, again, we have to get the ball rolling on that.
Yep. Yeah, I know. That was like the start of a new saga, new series, and all that, so it made sense.
All right. So on the whole, we're look, Frieza Saga not my go-to. But look, obviously it has some high highs in it. There's a lot of good stuff. We begin the Vegeta redemption arc, slowly but surely. I was really blown away by the Piccolo stuff that we got, but we, overall,
Of course, you get Goku going Super Saiyan.
yep, that's a biggie. Again, Namek was a really nice location. Just it's a shame getting there was so delayed by filler.
Yeah, and if I understand correctly, it's like one of the reasons why they went to Namek was because Toriyama just wanted to draw natural, didn't want to start drawing like cityscapes and all that.
Exactly, started drawing buildings. So
he's just like, hey, draw trees, draw rocks.
So again, we have some takeaways for the ages within in the tomes of anime with Goku versus Frieza, but it's again it's too darn long.
Took some time getting there, but
yeah, just so this episode is like the advertisement, is the big feather in the cap of Dragon Ball Z, guys. Why we can never fully discount one or the other. You get pros from like having all the filler. By the same token, though, some things you just gotta cut out of there.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, fortunately, I think Toei kind of learned their lesson from this, and I think they when they did do filler later on, they made it like more in line with the rest of the series, or at least made it more entertaining. Does that make sense?
Probably.
Because at least in the future arc, we get things like Goku and Piccolo getting their driver's licenses. So, at least we got that. But not in Kai. All right, so you want me to give my closing thoughts?
Yes.
All right. This was definitely definitely had a lot of high highs, but a lot of it did drag. I did enjoy it, and basically it was a lot of, I had to binge through a lot of it, and there was a lot of times where it just seemed like, okay, when is this thing gonna end? How many? It's like I thought I was further along. I was like, oh god, I still have I'm on episode 50. There's 50 episodes left. You know what I mean? Like episode 50 of that's in them when they're still traveling through space, I think. And yeah, overall, I had a lot of high highs, definitely some low lows, and way too much filler. So if I'm gonna rewatch this, I'm definitely gonna rewatch the Kai version. Still a big fight though. Been honored to be with you guys with these passing hours. Happy I could help, says Lucas Green.
Yep.
All right, Dragon, I'm done with my closing thoughts.
Okay.
Now, what about yours?
I gave mine.
All right. I didn't know if those counted as your closing thoughts.
Yeah, no, closing thoughts.
All right. So, Dragon, while we were searching on Namek, did we find anything interesting?
I went for a swim and I found something.
Ooh, what is it?
Big old Dragon Ball.
Ooh, the 2-star.
Deuces.
That's 2 so far.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So, what's it doing all the way out here, though?
The backstroke.
Yes. So, that's 2 down. 5 to go. So, all right. After Goku's epic victory against the tyrannical Lord Frieza, all seemed well in the universe. While Goku remains in space, and an old immortal enemy has escaped from the void known as the Dead Zone. Wielding the dreaded black water mist, Garlic Jr. seeks to turn our heroes against each other on the next Journey into Dragon Ball Z.